were. Yeah,
I mean, it was the 80s.
I mean, they were trying to humanize him.
In the 80s wouldn't have been.
We all were.
Yeah,
we all were.
Yeah.
Clearly, he had a soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she was no Leah Thompson.
Well,
but then
who is? I mean, besides Leah Thompson.
Well, I mean, yeah, you have the one.
The one.
Yeah.
Popping out the chat. Popped it out.
Pop out the chat. Yeah, like the song. Like that song.
Yeah.
You know the one.
No, which one is that?
That is Fly Me to the Moon.
Fly me to the moon.
Let me swing amongst the stars. I think is it Swing Among the Stars? I don't know.
Swing on the Stars is a different song.
Well, that's
Among the Stars.
Is it? Well, yeah, because you got that. Would you like to swing on a star? You got that one.
The Mini Pops covered that.
You mean the Kids Bop Kids?
No. I don't know if Kids Bop did it.
The Mini Pop trying to push your Mini Pop agenda on this.
Life is like
typical American. Americans did it second, so they must be first. This is why nobody likes your country.
Well, there's a lot of reasons.
There's a lot of reasons. That's one of the reasons.
Why? You know what? On the grand scale of things, our promotion of Kids Bop over the Wii singers or whatever they're called is probably
Mini Pops.
The Mini Pops.
The Wii.
They're not Scottish.
It's the Wii singers.
They're British.
Here we go.
The Wii singers.
We're gonna sing some songs with the wee little kids, the little lads and lassies.
That's pretty good.
Fly me to the moon, let us sing among the stars. Curse me, kills me, Moony Bin and Jupiter and Mars. Wait, I'm
you're
mixing up the two songs again. Yeah. Who cares, man? It's almost Christmas. I am feeling fine and cherry wine and
you taking I assume Finn's off now for the rest of the year.
So yes.
School.
They extended our kids' vacation to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow.
We talked about that last week.
Yeah.
We're talking about it again this week.
We already went over that.
Yeah, you know what else we already went over was Sea of Friggin' Thieves.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, you want to talk about that? Here, let me add it to the outline.
Can you make it so your ship looks like it's got Christmas lights on it?
No.
Fail.
But this year they have a Frozen Horizon ship set that makes it look like
with Elsa?
It's made of ice.
The prettiest princess of them all?
What does that have to do with Christmas?
It's winter.
Oh, for God's sake.
Then they have kind of a Krampus style costume that you can wear that turns you into a skeleton that's wearing like a red suit.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So, of course, I bought
from The Office?
No.
What?
From The Office?
Nothing.
Was there a Krampus in The Office?
I forget what it was that Dwight dressed up as.
The concept of wearing a red suit originated in The Office.
I didn't say that.
I see. That's how that goes. Yeah.
Oh God! One of my Steam friends is playing Cyberpunk 2077. Just in case I disconnect, that's probably what happened.
Oh, yeah, the bugs will travel through.
You should message
Steam
them
profile.
and ask them if they're aware that game has some bugs.
I'm sure all the PC players are not sick of being asked or told that.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
All right.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to episode.
Hey CJ, I'm sorry, we don't have to clap.
Wow.
I'm good.
Wow.
We did a clap like 5 minutes ago.
Well, you know, when Phil speaks, years go by. I forgot.
Greg has the memory retention of a goldfish.
Been drinking rum and eggnog all day. The kids aren't here.
Is that right?
No, not really. Well, part of that's true. The kids aren't here.
The kids aren't here. The not true part is you have not been drinking rum and eggnog. It's just rum.
Just rum, no eggnog.
You're not gonna,
but it has been all day.
You don't want to dilute your rum with eggnog.
Yeah.
Decreases the potency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to episode 737 of the Player One Podcast for Tuesday, December 22nd, 2020. I am your host, Chris Johnston, and with me as always from Canada, Mr. Greg Seward.
Hello.
How's it going, sir?
It's going fine. I got a Christmas tree growing at the top of my head, as you can see.
You do.
Oh,
yeah.
Tannenbaum.
I have like a shelf of amiibo growing out of mine. It's pretty cool.
I don't even have a top of my head.
No, yours is cut off. Just
That
flat.
is disturbing.
You know what I did? I know not on me yet, but look at this. I buzzed the old head.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's the beginning of it, Phil.
There it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
There it is.
There's usually no coming back from that.
Well, no. Well, there clearly is, because I did this exact same thing
a couple months ago.
probably like 5 months ago or so.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, that was my. I'm scared to go out to
I did
to
the
a barber
exact same
shop.
thing 15 years ago.
Then it just never came back.
Never came back.
Yeah.
I have only been to a barbershop once this year. Entire year. Entire year.
Yeah.
The rest of it, my wife has been cutting my hair.
Only suckers pay to get their hair cut.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
welcome, Greg.
Hi.
Oh,
Thank
and
you.
also Phil Theobald
Nice to
is
be
here.
here.
Hello.
Well, you
Phil.
see, what happened was I had shaved the head months ago,
Yeah.
and then time goes, and for as little hair as I have, on the hairline up front, the back gets really full and really thick, and I was retaining a lot of water. I retain a lot of water everywhere, as
I don't understand.
you can see. It collects. It collects in the hair. It was very thick hair. Now, see, I can understand, Greg, why you would not know what it's like to have thick hair. But
I had thick hair once.
But
He's posted a picture of that on
yeah.
Twitter.
But you get out of the shower and just your hair just stays wet for forever, no
Oh,
matter
I
how much
understand
you
what
want to
you're
dry it. Yeah.
See, you said you were retaining water and then talked
In my
about
hair.
retaining it elsewhere in your body. So it's like,
Yes.
I don't get.
But I am clearly retaining it everywhere.
That's not water. Let's be honest.
But now, part of it. Technically, human beings, just our body construct.
You're like 60% Coke Zero, though.
Well, there's water in that, certainly.
Yeah, there
Let's
we go.
see. Yeah,
CJ.
yeah. See, look at that. It's
Look, you're picking up the can of it. What
first
happens to
ingredient
drinking water
too.
every week?
Actually, that can is just about empty. Here's the actual water.
Okay, so
There
you
you go.
chase the Coke Zero with the
Yeah,
water.
See, look at
Yeah.
that. Genuine hydrogen and oxygen. I don't even have any
Yeah.
of that cute little flavor crap in it. This is just
Straight.
This is just raw water. Water in the raw. The way we like it here on the Player One podcast.
That's
So I shaved my
correct.
head again is what is my point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, I say I did, but Dana did. Because
You don't
Dana
even
did it.
shave your own head. Come on, man.
well, because that's what I did the first time.
Did you
And-
leave the big landing strip in the back?
I mean, there were certainly patches.
Because that happens.
Yeah, there were definitely patches.
Uh-huh.
Dana cleaned it up for me last time, and this time she was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
myself.
do it.
Yeah.
Let's get someone competent.
Let's let
in
the
there.
adults handle this.
Basically, yes.
Fair.
How you look reflects on her. That's the problem.
It's not like I'm
She
going
knows-
out anywhere.
She knows you don't care, but
Who am I impressing at this point?
that's what her friends. That's what I'm saying.
Her friend? We're not seeing her friends.
Mhm.
I'm trapped in the house, man.
That's why I feel for her.
Greg doesn't know what it's like to be living down here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Seeing friends. Ha ha ha. Ha.
going
Thunder
into the
down
outside
here.
world.
Yeah.
That's a fun concept, huh?
Mhm.
For 2020.
Mm.
Yeah. Visiting with friends. Yeah. Maybe next year.
Uh-huh.
Anyway,
Right.
let's talk about some news.
Nothing happened this week.
You like actually kind of a few things did
Oh,
kinda
okay.
happen.
Jeez.
Kinda.
Wow.
First of all, EA is going to buy Codemasters for $1.2 billion.
So
Previous
Codemasters.
rumor was that Take-Two
Take two.
Yeah.
was looking at buying
really?
them. EA swoops in and says, "Here's $1.2 billion."
that lucrative Micro Machines franchise is just too tempting to resist.
You know, it's
was
impressive
dizzy.
when you think about it, where this is happening. Like Codemasters has been around a long time.
Oh yeah,
Like that's a long
Very
time
long
for a
time.
developer to
Yes.
stick around.
It's true.
Yeah. And not get bought.
Yeah.
Well, it's good. It's good to see that they won't be around much longer because EA is going to
Yeah.
be buying them. So they had a
You know,
solid
Sad but
run.
true. Sad.
You know, like
Mm.
the Formula One series, which is what I care about from Codemasters,
Right.
has been great for a long time. It's yearly. It's a yearly
Mhm.
sports game, which there tends to be diminishing returns, but they've managed to improve it at a good rate. It doesn't feel old. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel like, oh, this is just last year's game with new liveries and new drivers.
Right.
Right.
Although they started dabbling in the microtransaction arena with 2020, it wasn't in a significant way. It was all it was all just like different liveries and different skins and things like that, and
Mhm.
different poses for your podium celebrations. So it's okay. It's nothing that I needed or wanted or cared about. But yeah, man, becoming an EA studio,
It's
I'm a little worried.
it's not. There's not a great record for companies being bought by EA and continuing to be.
Yeah,
studio.
That's true.
Yeah.
and with a contract like that, I mean, that's an expensive license.
Yeah.
And I feel like
Sure.
that's going to be ready to be, cheapened.
I feel
Spend a
like
little less money
Take-Two
on it.
might have been the better home for that.
See, I don't know. I struggle with that. I don't know which would have been better or worse, to be honest.
Yeah.
I guess in about 2 years' time, we'll know for sure
Yeah.
whether EA is or is not a good home for them, right?
I'm-
But in addition to Formula One,
Yeah.
they also did Dirt, including the
Oh.
recent release Dirt 5,
Yeah.
Grid, and Project Cars.
Yeah, they're a racing studio.
A racing studio. And EA has its own racing franchises, of course, Need for
Yeah.
Speed, Burnout, if they ever go back to doing anything with that.
Do they do
So-
Burnout anymore? Does Burnout exist?
Well, I mean, it seems like Criterion just shifted to become the Need for Speed studio.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
So, which is
You know what I'm excited about with this?
What's
that
that?
this grand merger is Dead Space 4 starring Linus Spacehead. So I think that's what this is all about.
Yeah, no.
the Project Cars developer? I
Mhm.
forget the name of that company, but Codemasters just bought them like 6 or 7 months ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So now they're suddenly
probably-
an EA studio, and I want to say that company was about getting away from big publishers.
I think
At
you're
one
right.
point?
I think you're
Huh.
right.
Yeah,
Everything comes back to the big publisher.
Yeah, like I wonder if it was even EA they were getting away from, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Slightly Mad Studios is the name of the company.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, just saying, boy, man, I don't know.
Apparently, I just got a delivery from. Oh! I just got a delivery. My
That
Echo.
was a range of emotion.
It was.
my Echo Dot. This is good. This is going on my acting reel for my auditions.
You're like, oh,
Yes. So my Echo Dot just beeped at me with a delivery notification. And
What was it? What is it? What is it?
It is a present for Dana for the upcoming holiday.
well.
Yes, it's a book. I got her a book. She likes to read because she's a nerd. So
Sure.
But a loser.
yeah, that's what happens.
Other big news from last week.
Yeah.
Among Us, one of the biggest hits of the year. even though it
Yes.
came out in 2018, is out now on the Nintendo Switch. You can buy it now. $5 is the price. And
So
you can play it.
CJ, I know
is it
you.
crossplay?
It is
It
crossplay
is,
with
yeah.
PC
Yeah,
and
we're gonna have
mobile,
to
yes.
get that.
I know you got it, CJ,
did.
and I know you played it, and I know you're going to talk about it during
Yes.
what have we been playing this week.
Yes.
But I want to ask you this,
What's that?
just because I'm curious about it now. I saw it came out because they shadow dropped this, right? This was not previously announced, correct?
They did. No, it was not previously announced. There was an Indie World presentation last week, and it was immediately available.
Yeah. So my son Finn is very much into Among Us. He's been playing it on his iPad.
Yeah.
Very frequently. And I saw it on the Switch and I was like, oh, Finn, check it out. This is on Switch.
Mm.
And I was looking at it and it's like $5 and I was about to pull the trigger on it. Just so I was like, if you want to play it on the TV, you can play it. I mean, you can play it on the TV anyway because of we got Apple TV and you got the screen sharing or whatever.
Sure.
But then I thought about it and I was like, well, I mean, a big chunk of that game is
not being able to see what the other people are doing.
Well, it's not that. It's like after someone is killed in the game, there's like a conference where all the survivors chat amongst themselves.
That's right. If a body is found, you discuss
via text,
report body or
about like who did it. Who I saw the red guy over in engineering. It might be him. That kind of thing.
That's right.
And I was like, how's that gonna work on the Switch? Are you gonna be because if you're playing it with people on PC and people on mobile, and you're sitting here with a boop 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 on-screen keyboard.
Well, in handheld mode, you can use the touchpad or the touch screen,
right,
to play it. But otherwise you use the soft keyboard.
Ugh. Well, and that's the funny thing is too.
Hasn't been too bad though.
Because I was like, oh, should I get it? And then Finn, who is clearly better with his money than I am, was like, I don't think we need that, Dad. Don't buy it.
That's have it on iPad.
That's a waste of money. I'm not going to play it on the Switch. I'm just going to keep playing it on my iPad. It's like, okay,
again, buddy. I'm surprised at his thriftiness, considering your spending habits.
I know.
You're modeling.
Dana's doing a great job raising your son.
I worked as a cautionary example too.
Yeah.
So he was very don't worry about it, Dad.
If he's used to playing it on iPad, there's no reason why you would get it on Switch. Sure.
Yeah. So okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll talk more about that come what have you been playing time.
We will. But of course, that was a huge announcement. Also, Grindstone from Cappy, which was previously available on Apple Arcade. One of the big games when Apple Arcade launched.
Apple Arcade exclusive at the time, right?
That's correct. Now available on the Switch. Mm-hmm. And we had announcements for Spelunky and Spelunky 2 that are coming out in the summer of 2021.
That seems like a long way away for...
It does, right?
Isn't Spelunky like years and years old at this point?
Spelunky is years old, yeah.
I mean, I know
Spelunky 2 just came
recent,
out in September, I think. But I was kind of surprised that this wasn't also a shadow drop, to be quite honest.
Right? Like I could see him... I could see him holding off Spelunky 2 till later, but...
Or drop Spelunky, drop Spelunky 1 and then have Spelunky 2 be summer. Yeah. I don't know. But not until summer. So, okay. Anyway.
Yes.
Those are the big indie announcements out of Indie World. It was a good little showcase, though. A lot of good indie games come to Switch, which is, no big surprise there. We also got new NES and Super NES games on Nintendo Switch Online last week. So,
I gotta update my.
Let's see. I just had this pulled up.
I know one of them is Super Valis 4.
Super Valis 4, Tough Enough, the Ignition Factor.
Right.
And Donkey Kong Country 3, Dixie Kong's Double Trouble. Oh, and Nightshade on the NES.
Oh, right. I like how the one that anyone would care about is the one we kind of like forgot. Oh yeah, the Donkey Kong Country one. That's right.
Ignition Factor is kind of interesting, just because I never played it.
I always wanted to play
Fireman
that game,
right?
That's the Fireman game.
Yeah.
I remember seeing screenshots of it in EGM or Game Fan, and I always wanted to play it, but never did. So now I could.
Is that just like a late release? Is that why no one's ever played it? Or I seem to remember that box being around in rental stores. I just always skipped over it for some reason.
I don't know.
But anyway, I mean, that's interesting. Otherwise, it's a bunch of garbage.
You dunking on Valis?
Have you played Valis 4?
the Valis games are not great, but I have affection
See,
for them.
and for as not great as the Valis games are,
Right.
Valis 4 is the worst one.
Is it really?
It's
I don't.
really
I
bad.
don't. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's
to be
really
honest.
just not a good game.
I think this comes from me, being a TurboGrafx player from back in the day.
You know what's funny is actually, I'll see if I can find it, but Ben Rivers sent me a message recently where whoever owns the Valis.
They're porn games now.
Well, he didn't know that. So
He didn't.
Apparently, whoever owns Valis now is putting together like a I don't know 20 or 30 year anniversary package of all the Valis games. That includes
all of
everything
them?
up to and including Valis X.
Oh no.
And he said something along the lines of like he's excited because he kind of likes the Valis games, so he's excited to try out the ones that he hasn't played. And I'm like, you don't know what Valis X is, do you?
Mega Man X is awesome, right? So this is probably just as good.
So take the first 3 Valis games, make them a digital novel, and pornify them. And that's Valis X.
No.
Yes.
Oh,
So-
no.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a shame because, I mean, again, I even back in the day, I realized that the Valis games were not terribly good, but I still enjoyed them just because they were.
Those were the import
stories.
games you always saw in EGM and then Game Fan, where it's like, yeah, it looks cool, and they usually got raved about, but I never bothered playing. I think I played Sid of Valis. It was the only one I played
too.
That's the Sid of Valis is the SD.
Yeah,
it's called SD Valis.
It's actually called SD Valis. For some reason, they called it Sid of Valis when they brought it here. But
yeah, who knows?
But yeah, I mean, they were fun in that they had. I only played the Genesis ones.
Okay.
Valis 3 was the main one that I
Right.
remember playing and being impressed by, but I was impressed because it was very cinematic heavy.
Yeah.
I loved the character design.
Well,
the character
they
designs were great.
Very heavy anime style characters.
Big time.
Very early 90s, late 80s.
But they were okay
Absolutely.
games. They like Valis 3 was felt like sort of a low rent Castlevania 3. Like you got to the point where you could swap between 3 different characters. They all had different abilities but it was just sort of a very bog standard action platformer.
And the controls were kind of sluggish and
it was like one of
not
those
very
push
great.
up to jump high type things. And I mean that's what that series is. And the original Valis came out I think after Valis 3 on the Genesis. Was less. It wasn't as good.
Yeah, not terribly good games, but I do have an odd kind of affection for them.
Play Valis 4. I think you'll be underwhelmed.
Oh, I'm sure I will be.
Yeah,
I'm sure I will be, but I just think it's nice to see Valis show up again in not pornographic digital novel form.
You know, imagine if Virtual Console was still a thing and we were still doing TurboGrafx and Genesis games.
Oh man,
then Valis could show up every game,
couple times over
there.
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing now that Capcom is sort of they're doing their little arcade thing. There's nothing stopping Konami from sort of doing the same thing. They could do that.
Yeah, sure.
If they wanted.
I would imagine Konami would be
not sure what they have to do with
ready
Valis,
to
but
release Valis.
No, but
a game that they do not own the rights to.
Konami now owns the TurboGrafx stuff. No, that's what I'm talking
they
about.
own
Like
the Hudson stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
Valis is Telenet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
And I don't
Jesus,
like I said, I think whatever company it is that turned it into porn is
right. They
are the rights holders for the Valis
Yeah.
franchise.
Oh.
Where's my big Telenet collection though?
Oh, you want your Ernest Evans?
I want my El Viento. I want my Ernest. I want Annette again.
Speaking of underwhelming platformers,
Yeah, I know.
Ugh.
I
Had a lot of magazines hyped up.
I did have I did have El Viento for the Genesis back in the day.
and Ernest Evans was one of those Game Fan Crusade games.
Oh, absolutely.
They just
Well, it was
remember
because
it was in all their
Sega
ads
CD
too?
version was better,
Yeah.
right?
Well, no, it wasn't really. It was still really bad. It just had cinema scenes. that they liked.
Exactly.
Yes.
Ernest Evans, because the whole thing with him was that they were using the segmented animation.
Yeah.
So when you actually played it, it's like, this looks awful.
Terrible.
It was like kind of like
It plays even
marionette
worse.
style.
Yeah, like
paper
when yeah,
cutouts.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's a great way
Yeah.
to describe it. Marionette style animation.
Yeah.
terrible.
But back in the day, innovating
Sure.
where you can.
Yep.
I remember seeing
At least they were trying
screenshots of it
something.
in Game Fan and being like, "Oh, this looks really
Constantly.
awesome." And then I
Oh,
saw it in motion. I was like, "What?"
That was because then they finally decided to release it on cartridge here.
Yeah.
And that was the same way. I was like, oh, I can't wait to play this. I'm so excited because Game Fan had been telling me for months and months how great it was.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then I played it. I was like, this is terrible.
Look, the diehard Game Fan stores bought a lot of copies of those from Japan, and they got to get them out
Yeah.
the door.
It's funny looking back on it. I was burned so many different times by things that Game Fan hyped up that I bought into hook, line, and sinker, including Wonder Dog.
Oh,
and, the Atari Jaguar.
Herbie
Yep.
Hopperhead.
Yep.
Well, Hermie Hopperhead I bought later.
Yeah.
But I do own a copy of Hermie
CJ
Hopperhead
bought that
because
ironically.
Yeah,
I
that's
bought it
yeah.
ironically for like 500 yen.
Do you have that displayed next to your Monitor statue?
You totally
I
should.
don't, but I
That
should.
makes a
Oh
lot of
man,
sense.
you
Really
should. You should get a shelf with the Monitor
Oh.
statue and get Wonder Dog up there, get Hermie Hopperhead, get all of those,
I should.
you know, Voodoo Vince, get that all
Voodoo
all of
Vince.
Halverson's weird obsessions
Voodoo Vince.
of crappy
reviewed Voodoo
platformers.
Vince.
What was it?
I reviewed Voodoo Vince. I did not get at all why people liked that game. back
People
in the
didn't.
day.
A person.
People
liked
didn't
that
like
game.
that game.
Yeah, Dave Halverson liked that game. People did not like it.
It
You
was
need at
just-
least two people to have
No.
people.
I guess that's true.
Yeah,
Not a good game. Not a
No.
good game.
of course not.
All right. Did you guys see the Super Nintendo World Direct that Nintendo put out?
I did not, but I
Yes.
see everybody saying they want to go to Japan now.
I wanna
Goodness
go to Japan,
gracious.
yes. I mean, if you want to see a video of Shigeru Miyamoto just giddy as a schoolboy walking through a theme park, watch this video because he has such a look of delight
Oh,
on
I
his
know,
face
right?
that you have literally never seen in any other Nintendo video
You know-
before.
You know what I thought was adorable in that video?
What's that?
At one point in the video, a couple costumed mascot characters come out dressed as Mario and Luigi, and they're
Yes.
hello, it's Mario and Luigi. Let's pose and take some pictures and stuff like that. And they do that, and then Miyamoto just kind of says to them, "Okay, Dad has to get back to work now. I'll see you later." And they go off on their way, and I was just like, he just called himself Dad to the Mario and Luigi costume characters, and it's so
Adorable.
charming.
It's adorable.
Yeah, it was.
I've gotta
But
watch
boy,
that.
it looks great. I mean, I'm not a
It
I'm
looks
not a
fantastic.
I'm not a theme park guy, but
Yeah.
that Mario Land looks really cool.
It really does.
Yeah.
It looks like whenever they bring that to any of the American theme parks, definitely go within the first year. Otherwise, that place is gonna be trashed.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, so one of the gimmicks, Greg. I'm explaining this to you since you've
Mhm.
not seen the video, but
And
one
our
of the
listeners.
and
Well, yeah.
who?
Mm-hmm.
The what now?
So one of the gimmicks in the park is you get a little wristband. They have a wristband, and it has like a little NFC
RFID.
chip or something.
Yeah,
in
like
it.
in
Yeah,
Disney.
yeah.
NFC chip.
And at there various places around the park, you can kind of hold your wrist up, and it'll activate little secret things. Like you'll see like a big question mark block, and if you punch it,
Nice.
it'll scan it, and it'll make like little coin collecting
noise.
noise. And it ties to an app on your phone, and it actually keeps track of like, oh, this is how many coins you've collected in the park and stuff
Okay.
like that. It's super cute.
Yeah.
They showed off a little, it's not a ride. I guess they're calling it an activity
Activity. Yeah.
where it's there's a little area where there will be like you're looking up kind of like on a stage, and there's a pipe with a Koopa shell bouncing back and forth, and it goes through the pipe. And the pipe
Okay.
it's like a T pipe with the little upward facing exit. But the Koopa shell is just bouncing back and forth. And you can press a button and it lights up a couple POW blocks. And if you time it so that the last POW block lights up as the Koopa shell is halfway through the pipe, the Koopa shell will get bumped up through the pipe and hit a question mark block.
Yeah.
And it's a super
very
cute little,
cool.
It's a very cool. It's a super cute little interactive bit. But like Miyamoto tries it, and it takes him like 5 or 6 tries to actually get the timing down.
No, he misses the first time and then does it on the second.
Was it this? I thought he missed
it
a
was the
couple
second.
times.
No.
Really?
No.
Okay. Well, whatever the case is, there's going to be like a 3-hour wait just to do that.
That's what I was thinking.
Because people are going to be missing over and over and over again. And
and there's going to be a lot of people anyway.
Of course. So it's like, the Mario theme park seems like an awesome place to go to by yourself or with your family or with a handful of friends, but with several hundred other people.
It doesn't
several
seem
thousand.
Like
I have no idea the capacity of the park.
Yeah.
It's probably into the thousands. But
well, it's one of the lands within Universal Studios.
I mean, these numbers are completely out of my ass. I have like I said, I know nothing about theme parks. I have no idea about their capacity.
Right.
There's gonna be a lot of people.
Probably. Yeah. Yes. It's a good bet.
So even to do these simple little push a button to get the timing right activities, you're gonna be waiting forever.
Maybe. Yeah.
I mean, how could you not be?
It's
Everyone's
nothing.
gonna want to do all this.
It looks awesome. Like even
does.
in the pictures,
Yeah.
I doubt I'll ever go. They're opening one at Universal Studios here, right?
They're gonna do
Hollywood and Florida as well.
Yeah.
So there's a chance I might end up there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm never going back to the United States anyway. So
Well, yeah.
You're missing
Not
quite
for a
bit.
while. Not for a while anyway.
Ugh.
All right. Let's talk about Cyberpunk 2077 because there's a lot of Cyberpunk related talk and news this past week, let me tell you.
Yeah.
First of all, CD Projekt Red apologizing for the state that the console version shipped in. Then adding on to that apology, hey, if you want to request a refund, go ahead, with providing no other information or alerting the platforms or retailers that they were going to be going ahead and doing that. Phil had to go pee.
Yeah, Phil's gone.
Then it
just hurts too much.
Yeah. Sony delisting Cyberpunk 2077 off of PSN and then saying that anyone who wants a refund on it can get one, which was good. And then Microsoft adding a little warning to the shop listing on Cyberpunk 2077 stating that it may not operate without bugs. So it's quite a week for CD Projekt Red.
It's kind of the 1-2 punch of, I mean, we all expect games to be as crappy as this is. We all expect the bigger the game, the more bugs are going to be there at launch.
Yeah.
We've come to accept that. We've come to accept huge day one launch or launch day patches. But yeah, this game sounds like it was exceptionally broken.
Well,
and then it's like with
it doesn't just sound like it was exceptionally broken. From the many videos that you can watch on YouTube of the glitches, it appears just to be broken.
Yeah, and then it just feels like
you look one way and then look the other way and then look back and the cars are completely different on the street.
Oh, really?
Like if there's a bunch of traffic on the road, you can basically look away and look back and they're
but it's the thing that's really gotten me this week is not just the extreme to which the game is broken, which is kind of shocking, but it seems like every single time CD Projekt Red said or did anything, they just made it worse.
Just stepped on a rake.
Like they just they did. They stepped on a rake. That's a perfect that scene. The Cape Fear scene from The Simpsons. That was CD Projekt Red this week.
Except I think in their original apology and the go request a refund kind of thing, that was a bit of a deflection on their part. Okay, a major deflection on their part to the platform holders.
Yeah.
You basically
they made it Sony and Microsoft's problem.
Right. They did. They made it their
problem.
problem.
That's all they did. Because I mean, even in their apology, it seemed like they seemed to say that what they did wrong was not be honest about how broken the game is.
Which is
Like,
partially
when
true.
what they
That's
should have
one
said
of the-
was, we apologize for releasing a completely broken game. It's like,
Right.
no, we just didn't show you how broken it was. So, our bad. Like, that's nuts. And then say, go get a refund. And it's like, well, wait a minute.
Which then it seemed to send the platform holders scrambling and retailers as well. Just like, how do we deal with this? Because retail, anyway, in the US, they don't accept opened games back for a full refund. And in terms of digital refunds, Sony's probably the worst in terms of there's no self-service refunding, and you have to call or like get on a customer service chat to even open that dialogue.
And even they don't even have that policy.
Even then, the policy is that digital sales are final, and you can maybe get them to bend the rules like once in a year for you. But this just kind of seemed to overwhelm their customer service platform.
I think they also did say in that original apology, as far as retail goes, they said if you have trouble returning a physical copy, to get in touch with us, although they put a time limit on that.
They did.
To the 21st.
Which is tomorrow as we record this,
tomorrow.
right?
Now, like part of me wants to think that was them saying that the office will be closed from the 21st on because of the holiday, maybe?
They didn't say that.
They did not come across that way at all.
No.
So it's like, yeah. Oh, man.
Well, imagine if you're somebody who you're getting a physical copy for the holidays. You haven't gotten your present yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
well, then you have the stuff like, certainly you have like all the GameStops and Best Buys and Amazons and all that, but then you have some of like the smaller kind of mom and pop retailers.
Shops.
I know, like Pink Gorilla posted something on Twitter where they were like, this is kind of screwing us over because we have people who bought the game from us and now they're coming back wanting a refund. And
again, you publicly made policy for a bunch of people you don't have control over.
Yeah, it's
exactly.
like CD Projekt Red is not giving us money for these returned copies. That is just
the other thing that makes that interesting is that WB Games is actually the distributor in the US, like of physical copies. So it's not even like CD Projekt Red has manufactured the discs in the US. It's WB Games. So where does, like, how happy are they that CD Projekt Red is like, go ahead and return them?
Oh, jeez.
And, it's, I got to say, and I know this has been said many times, but like, we already knew that they were pulling crunch to get this thing out the door.
Yes.
Right.
You got to feel for the developers.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The animators and designers on this thing, because they didn't make this choice.
I have to.
I guarantee they all knew how bad it was.
I guarantee you they knew absolutely.
Yeah,
but they didn't have any control over it.
If they didn't know it, the QA definitely did. Just look at the glitch videos. Like it's crazy stuff, right?
Yeah.
But you remember that original delay bump where they delayed it from November 10th to December 10th or whatever it was. It was like a nothing delay. And we talked about it on the show, right? Where it's like, what do you think is really going to be accomplished during this 21-day delay?
Right.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Like if it is broken now, it is going to be broken in 21 more days. Like there's no saving this, right? Like if you've worked in game development or whatever, you know that if you have a broken game, you ain't solving it in 21 days.
But you're going to work everyone to death.
You're going to work everyone to death. I
it.
mean, with the scope of some of these issues, it seems like they could have delayed it another year. Right? Because there's just so many things. And I'm hearing impressions on podcasts that I can't believe, like the traffic doesn't have AI pathing, or the police doesn't have AI pathing.
Jeff Grubb in our chat actually just said that the cops can't path through the world, so if you break the law on an inaccessible roof, they just still spawn in behind you.
Oh
man, like what?
Or that video that we were looking at today, CJ, where someone was riding the motorcycle through the streets, and then for some reason the screen went black, and loaded, and then the next shot is the world falling away from them.
Right.
Like the whole world falling away from them endlessly. Like that's a catastrophic bug.
Well, and then you see all of the characters in T poses and the people who are
with no
naked
faces.
riding motorcycles. Like all this, or the palm trees like becoming water and like floating down. Like
Man.
all this stuff. It's just like, oh my god, like how did this game ship? Like how did they figure that this was okay to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's brutal. And like I said, I feel bad for the team because, you know, they've probably not had a decent night's sleep for months now. And they still had a completely broken game shipped.
They did. We did get a question, and this is kind of an ongoing topic from all this Cyberpunk fallout from Hacker Alias the Boss Room.
Those are different games.
Who says, how much is the responsibility of Sony and Microsoft to make sure games like Cyberpunk 2077 meet a certain QA standard before they're available for purchase on their consoles? And I want to say about that tweet, there's a great thread from Rami Ismail who goes through kind of what certification on platforms means. It does not mean QA. It doesn't mean bug testing. Right. It just means that the game isn't going to expose your PlayStation or Xbox to other issues or like
break.
It's
not going to break your system. Yeah.
No.
It's not realistic for cert to be QA anyway. You kind of look. I sort of throwing some numbers together there, and I think like I was looking at the PS4, and since it launched in November 2013, right? A little over 3,000 games have been released for the thing. There's no way. That's an average of about 10 games a week.
Yeah.
There's no realistic way for Sony as a platform holder to QA 10 games a week, and especially games the size of Cyberpunk.
None of these platforms, you can include Nintendo in the bunch, right?
Yeah.
Certification process is not QA on any of this stuff.
No.
I mean, however, I do feel, even with the explanation from Rami, that the way that large AAA games have been shipping recently in semi-broken states, obviously Cyberpunk is the worst offender here. There does need to be, and I'm sure the platform holders are already looking at this, there does seem to need to be some accountability in terms of what is allowed day one and what is not.
Yep.
Right.
No.
Yeah. I'd like to know what those deals are now. And it's funny because like with the existence of day one patches as well, it's got to be a bitch to sort all this out. Like I remember we were talking about this a little bit offline last week, I think, because another thing, like somebody sent us in a question about like would a modern day EGM review crew have been able to warn us about Cyberpunk 2077? And
the answer to that is no.
Yeah, my answer to that is no.
Of course not.
And I mean, you know, back when we were all still doing that stuff, the issues you see now weren't happening, right? But we would still review things that were buggy.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we had such a long lead time, and you sort of took a little bit on faith that something that you found that was broken would be fixed.
Yeah.
And you know, but 99.9% of the time it was true.
Well,
and I mean, we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
I think recently where if we did see something that bad, we would get a hold of the PR person and they would get in touch with the developers, and sometimes we talk straight to the developers about what is this stuff gonna be? And they're like, oh no, the build we have, we've already fixed that kind of stuff. And like you said, you kind of had to take it a bit on faith. Well,
the other thing back then, there were no day one patches.
I was going to say we all pretty much left right at the sort of the beginning of the day one patch.
Right. So if a company shipped a broken game like this, they were going to be financially devastated.
Yeah.
They just would not be in business any longer.
That
like it
true.
didn't matter how many copies they sold, they would just be dead.
Yeah.
It feels like this is the inevitable final destination of where we've been going as far as the day one patches and everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I don't know.
Because that line
man.
keeps getting pushed back.
I kind of felt like, you remember Assassin's Creed Unity? It had all those weird facial animation bugs where it would just be eyes and teeth talking at you.
Yeah.
Remember? Where it was like, oh my God, like the day one patch, like, how are companies shipping games in this state? This is terrible. And from that point, whenever Unity was released, which is like what, 2014, 2015 to now, no one has really like said, we need to tighten this up. Right. It just has gotten worse and worse and worse and worse. And now Cyberpunk is the one that I think has gone past the line.
Yeah.
Where Sony pulled it off of sale, off of PSN, and Microsoft did not pull it from sale, but includes a warning on the store page.
Patrick Klepek tweeted something about that, which I thought made a lot of sense, where it got pulled off the store and they started giving refunds, because I don't think Sony has a policy where they give refunds unless something is faulty.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess by the way he was putting it is like, by giving refunds, I guess they're technically saying it's faulty and they can't have a faulty game on their storefront. They can't sell something that's faulty. I mean, I know that's it, but I thought that made a little bit of sense. But either way,
I think the we don't give refunds unless it's faulty thing is something that they can fall back on if you're being a total jerk to them on the phone.
Well, I mean, it makes sense to me. But
or if you're a problem returner, they can say, hey, is it faulty? No,
right.
Then you're keeping it.
But either way, like, yeah, there need to be ramifications for this.
Yeah.
I wonder if there will be.
I wonder too.
Because it does, and especially I think there'll be extra impetus to make an example of CDPR, because they sort of dropped it in the lap of the platform holders.
He did.
You know what I mean? Like, and all the retailers with no plan whatsoever. So,
yeah. I'm glad I didn't buy it, but Cyberpunk just isn't my type of game. So
I've heard it's actually pretty good. Your best friend Mike likes it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Just doesn't seem like something I'd be interested in playing.
Not enough.
But the glitches are fun to watch. The glitch videos are fun. All right, let's get into what you've been playing, Phil.
Yeah.
Kick us off, sir.
Well, actually, I'm gonna say this first.
You do it.
I pre-ordered a game this past week. Actually, I pre-ordered multiple games this week for the Nintendo Switch. There's a bunch of games coming out on Christmas Day.
What?
I don't know if you've seen this. Some old game. You know, it's weird. The Switch is getting some old games.
Imagine that.
They're putting some old games on
But
the
are
Switch.
they new to Switch?
Yes.
So they're new.
So they're new. They're brand new. Potential Game of the Year candidates.
Whoa.
Squeaking in just under the wire. The Bit Trip series is coming to Switch.
All right.
As you may have seen. Yes.
Yes.
I'm less excited now.
Oh, I love the Bit Trip games.
Oh, me too. But I'm just.
Yes. But yeah, they're bringing out the Bit Trip games on Switch. They're being sold separately. So in case you just like, let's say, Bit Trip Runner, which is the best of the Bit Trip games, you could just buy that one. But I think, are they charging like $5 for? I think they're $5 each. But if you purchase one of them, the others all get discounted to like $2 each.
Oh, that's nice.
So
that's
yeah,
cool.
I don't believe that is mentioned anywhere, like on their product pages. Yeah, because I saw them all come up and I was like, well, I'm gonna get Bit Trip Runner because I really like Bit Trip Runner because it's the best of the Bit Trip games. Sure. So I did, and then that preloaded, and then all of a sudden all the other games were like, oh, these are now $2. So I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and I'll buy the rest. So but yeah, it's a little I'm a little bummed that they are all individual. I mean, it's nice to have them individual releases just so you can buy them piecemeal if you want, but
sure.
Now I just have like on my home screen is mostly just Bit Trip games at this point. It'd be nice to just have
like
them
5, right?
I think there's 6,
5 or 6 on the same day.
Yeah, because they're putting them all out. So But
This is
but
reminding me I need to get Space Invaders Forever, so I'm going to go ahead.
yeah, that's out now too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yep. And it's
Look at that.
is it $30?
$30 is 3 games.
Yeah, and it's
right.
yeah, because I bought the import. I got the digital copy of the import Space Invaders collection, which has several more games, but really the collection that's out now in the US it's the 3 ones that you're gonna actually want to play.
It's the ones you want.
Yeah, it's Space Invaders Extreme. It's I forget what the name of the like
Gigamax.
Yeah,
something.
it's got some crazy name.
Not Gigamax. That's
I don't know, but it's something
might
like
be.
that.
It's something like
it's
that.
something like that if it's not actually that. But that one's like
Yeah.
it's like a multiplayer kind of like super widescreen thing, I believe.
Yeah.
But then you get the
and Arkanoid versus Space Invaders.
yeah, the which was a iOS game originally. It's
Right.
touch screen only. That one is touch screen only.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Space Invaders Gigamax 4 SE.
There you go. That's the one. Rolls right off the tongue.
Yep.
Right off.
Can't believe
And
you
then-
couldn't remember that.
And then it's Arkanoid versus Space Invaders is the official title of the other one.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, that is a touch screen only game,
Huh.
and it is tate oriented. You gotta
Oh,
bust out your
mode.
flip grip for Arkanoid versus, which is a fun game. It's a very
Yeah.
very fun game.
I have to look at
Okay.
these.
Yeah, but it's
I like
I mean-
me some Space Invaders.
yeah. Well, Space Invaders Extreme is so good.
It is.
It's a
Yeah,
really
that
fun
one is
game.
good.
Yeah, no, that collection is definitely worth picking up. Just because
Okay.
trims the fat of the Japanese release. So
All right.
but what did I actually pick up this week? I picked up Grindstone, our shadow dropped friend.
Yes.
The 1 month that I did my free trial of Apple Arcade before realizing that I did not want to pay $5 a month for Apple Arcade.
Yeah.
That was like the one game that I got the most enjoyment out of. And the whole time I was playing it, I was like, boy, I wish I could just buy this and not have to spend $5 for the rest of my life when I want to
can.
play this. Now I can, and in fact, now I did. So
True.
I picked up Grindstone, and of course, originating as an iOS game, it is of course built for touchscreen.
Hmm.
But they actually did a pretty good job of implementing controls, like actual controller controls. So we talked about this back when Apple
did, back
Arcade
when it
first
launched, yeah.
launched. But yeah, it's a puzzle game. It's a matching the colors kind of puzzle game. You have a grid, and you are a kind of beefy looking warrior fellow. And the grid is filled with different colored monsters, and you have to connect a path through like colored monsters. And then you go through and you hack and slash them and kill them all. And things happen when you form combos, and you can find ways to extend your killing spree as you go. And it's really good. It's got a great
Very satisfying to play as well.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the animation, Cappy just does a great job with that stuff anyway.
Yeah.
But in
Oh, yeah.
Grindstone especially, it's just very satisfying
Yeah.
to get those matches.
Yeah, it's a really fun game. It's got a decent level of challenge to it. There's you can there's a little risk reward system as you clear, because the goal of each stage is to kill X number of monsters. But even after you kill all the monsters that you were supposed to, you can keep playing on that board, and you'll earn more items. You can actually earn treasure chests as you go. But the longer you stay in the stage, kind of past the ending point, the more difficult it becomes, and the little monsters will attack you more frequently and that sort of thing. But yeah, it's and of course you can buy power-ups and special items and things like that. It's a really fun little game.
It is.
So
yeah.
I would, if you like puzzle games and you haven't had a chance to try this on Apple Arcade, I would highly recommend Grindstone. It is fantastic, and I'm glad to have it on Switch. And yeah, the like I said, the controls, the way it works is you just use the analog stick to point your little warrior through the path you want to take, and it actually does a very good job of kind of replicating touch controls on that.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and if you happen to, move the warrior's path in the wrong direction, or if you see a different route you want to take that's going to be more effective, you can just hit the B button and it'll back up step by step, so you can kind of
good.
Yeah, they did a fantastic job reworking the controls for a controller. So top notch stuff, to be sure. The other big thing I got this week was my Astro City showed up.
Thing.
It's bigger than you'd think, especially once you get the little add-on thing for it. So Sega, we've talked about this on the show a bit. Sega over in Japan released the Astro City Mini, which is another mini console. This one patterned off of the Japanese arcade machines, the Astro City machines. That kind of very distinctive,
very iconic looking arcade machine.
Yeah, Japanese arcade machine. It's shaped like one of those. It's got a built-in screen. It has a little joystick and 6 little buttons, and they're all quite clicky. If you like your joysticks to be clicky, they're clicky.
Good.
Yep.
I'm liking it so far.
And it has support for it's got HDMI out, so you can plug it into your TV if you don't want to play it.
Is it a mini HDMI?
No.
Okay.
It's a regular HDMI. The screen is nice. The screen is nice, but it's like a widescreen, whereas these are old arcade games on there, which are like 4x3 display, and this is a widescreen display.
Does it stretch them?
No.
Good.
It doesn't. Yeah. But yeah, so it's got HDMI out. It's got a headphone jack on the back if you're playing it portably and don't want to disturb your parents while you play. And it's got USB ports on the back for two extra controllers if you want to. Again, if you're playing it on the TV, they do sell D-pad, just kind of traditional looking D-pad controllers, and you can get an arcade stick for it as
which
well.
Is huge.
Is it actually? I did not
I think so.
Really.
I was watching but the My Life in Gaming guys were streaming just before we came on, and Corey Carlson was talking about that controller. He said it's very nice. Actually, he said both controllers are really nice, but that arcade controller is fantastic apparently.
Oh, nice.
Which can use for other things too, obviously. But he said the D-pad was really nice too.
Okay. Yeah, I picked up 2 of the D-pads. I did not get the arcade stick. But yeah, the D-pad controller is great. I mean, it looks beautiful. It's got, it's styled to look like the like it fits in with that aesthetic. But yeah, it's well constructed. The buttons are nice and responsive. The D-pad is a little raised.
Is it kind of like a Saturn D-pad? That's what he made it sound like.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah.
Excited.
Yeah. But yeah, it's really great. The cord on the controller, I had to buy a couple of USB extensions. Yeah. I mean, they're not short, but I have it hooked up by my TV and running it over to the couch. It was just like a little too short. So
kind of assumed that. And it's funny because we've gone so long now where we're all using wireless controllers.
I know.
It's not like the old days where you were sitting a little closer to the TV because your controllers just didn't have long cords.
Right. Well, and apparently people have tried using like the 8-bit DOE, because all my other mini consoles, the Genesis and the Nintendo stuff and the Turbo, I have the 8-bit DOE wireless controllers plugged into all of those, and those all work great. But the 8-bit DOE, like this, people have tried like the Sega one, doesn't work on the Mini, which is unfortunate. So maybe they'll do a wireless one sometime in the future. I would probably spring for it if they did. But in the meantime, yeah, I have just a big USB extension cord draped across the living room. And yeah, I also picked up, they have a little accessory. I forget what they call the little accessory kit, but it is basically a riser that it's just a big empty box that the arcade unit clips into quite securely. I will note.
Big empty box. How much was the big empty box?
I don't even remember. Probably
I don't think they're that expensive.
Yeah, they're probably like
$20.
20 or 30. Yeah. But I'm actually loading up my Amazon account right now. But it's just to give it the look of a full size arcade unit.
Right.
And it looks great. It actually has a coin slot built in, so you can plunk in. You can plunk in like your 100 yen coins.
It only takes yen.
Yeah. Well, 100 yen coins are roughly the size of a quarter, so you can use your filthy Western money if you want. You know what? The little it's a little pricier than I thought it was. It's like 3,500 yen.
Yeah, so like $30.
Yeah. So yeah, about $30. But so it comes with the riser. And it's got like a little piggy bank slot on the bottom, so you can get your money out.
That's cool.
Yeah. It also comes with a tiny little scaled stool, which you see those a lot in the Japanese arcades because these machines are built to sit down and play, as opposed to like U.S. arcade games that are made to stand up.
They make a stand.
Yeah. Boy,
like animals.
that stool though. Boy, I put it back.
You tried to sit on it?
Sat on it.
It broke.
Yeah.
It broke. Can't support
I feel like
the weight.
there should have been a warning.
No, because I was just gonna have it like sitting on the shelf, just in front of it, just to look cute as a cute little display. But boy, that stool is flimsy as hell. It is thin plastic. Yeah. Like I thought, because I mean it's a small stool, but I thought at least like the legs of it would be like thin little metal bits, but no, it's chromed plastic. And you touch it and it just starts bending, and I'm just like, oh, this is Finn's gonna pick it up and look at it, and he's gonna squeeze it too hard and it's just gonna snap into 7 pieces. So I put it away. But yeah, no, it's cute. It's got 37 games on it. And they I complained about this on Twitter a bit. The emulation seems great.
Okay.
I mean, I am not an authority on emulation by any stretch of the imagination. But it's not like at games level bad. It's good. The games look nice. They sound good. I can't speak to how authentic they sound because a lot of these games I've never played, or if I have played them, it was in an arcade 2 decades ago, that kind of thing. But everything sounds fine. Pretty limited on options. If there's no menus to go in and mess around with the dip switches, because these are all arcade ROMs you're playing on there. So there's no dip switch settings.
Really? So there's no like difficulty settings or anything like that?
No, nothing like that.
I kind of expected that there would be.
Yeah. And even like screen settings, there's no there's like one option where you can add the scan lines, which I don't really play games with scan lines, but apparently the one scan line setting on here is not good from what I've seen people talking about.
They're always not good.
Yeah,
that's just me.
Yeah. But yeah, so if you want like a lot of customization options, yeah, they're not in there. But yeah, you get like 37 old Sega arcade games, and some of them were stuff that never was released in the US. Some of them are certainly bona fide classics. It does have Golden Axe, The Revenge of Death Adder, which has not had a home port until now, or the
Arcade 1-Up.
The recently released Arcade 1-Up.
Yep.
So that's cool to have
That's
that on there.
awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, I went through and played several games, and it's really great. I mean, I played a little Flicky, which
Flicky's a good game.
Flicky is a good game.
And I always turned my nose up at that game when it was on the Genesis originally because it looked so simple.
I did too.
And it was cheap, so I thought it just sucked. And it wasn't until I covered it for Generation 16 where I actually legitimately played it for the first time. It's like, this is a really good little game.
It's a solid little old arcade title. It's got a fun kind of game loop. It's charming as hell.
Easy to play.
Yeah.
Levels are nice and short.
Yeah. I watched I saw some video on YouTube where someone was talking about it, and I got kind of a deeper appreciation for the game.
Sounds like
I went
a great
back
video.
Hey, it wasn't, I mean, it's fine.
Should support that creator.
It was Generation 16. I watched Greg's Generation 16 video, everyone. You should too. You will learn way more about Flicky than you thought there was to learn about Flicky.
There was to learn, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, so I played a bit of that. Played some Altered Beast, which
it is what it is.
I like Altered Beast.
Me too.
It's not great, but it's fun.
There's something about and I think I would have appreciated Altered Beast more if I had played it in the arcade first.
Oh, really?
Something about those sort of something about those arcade scroller, platform scroller. Well, not really platform, but
right.
It was a beat 'em up, but it was a very, very, very simple beat 'em up.
Right.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah,
I like
I'm having fun playing Altered Beast again. It is weird playing the arcade version after all this time because the voice samples are pretty
all
decent.
Different. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just used to kind of stuff. But what else? I played some Radmobile, which I suck at.
Cool.
It's cool that I suck at this game.
Really?
Yeah, it's got Radmobile.
I didn't know that.
The first appearance of Sonic the Hedgehog in a video game.
So that must be fun to play with the D-pad.
Well, I mean, it's either that or a joystick on the actual unit. So, yeah. I'm looking at the list. I mean, it's got Puyo Puyo 2, if you like Puyo Puyo.
Supposed to be the good one.
Which I just can't get into Puyo. I can't wrap my head around it.
What? I'm just terrible at color matching games.
Yeah.
It's got well puzzlers, but
it's got a few of columns variants, and I don't like columns. Columns ain't good.
No.
What else is on here that I played? I mean, it's got Alex Kidd and the Lost Stars, which is not.
That's not a very good game.
But yeah, it's an Alex Kidd game, whatever. It's got Space Harrier, which I love Space Harrier. It's got Cotton, the side-scrolling cute 'em up with the little witch. That is a fun game. And I had never played the arcade version of Cotton. And I played through to the end of the first level, and the final boss of the first stage, it does these really cool kind of graphical effects that I don't remember if they were in any of the console versions, where it'll hit the ground, and then the ground will start doing waves with these cool kind of graphical effects that were clearly mind-blowing back when this game first came out.
Right.
How many scrolls?
Several scrolls. Several scrolls. My goodness. Enough to woo even the most diehard game fan.
Sounds like this thing's got some good softs on it.
Yeah. I played a bit of Alien Storm, which kind of
that's cool. The arcade version of Alien Storm would be fun to play.
Yeah. I've always liked Alien Storm. It's got the arcade Shinobi. It's got the arcade version. Well, these are all the arcade versions, obviously. It's got Shadow Dancer on there, which is different than the Genesis Shadow Dancer.
I'm less of a fan of the arcade version of Shadow Dancer.
Really? See, I like the.
It's okay.
Yeah,
I think it's okay, but I really prefer the Genesis version.
It's got Thunder Force AC on it.
That's pretty cool.
Which is the arcade version of Thunder Force.
Love Thunder Force 3.
Yeah, and man, I played a bit of that. Man, Thunder Force 3 is so freaking good.
So good.
It's really a great game. And yeah, it's got the first golden axe. It's got the Revenge of Death Adder, like I said. It's got I believe the newest game, the most recent game on the collection is Puyo Puyo 2, but I think right before that is the original Virtua Fighter, which is on there, and hard to go back. Hard to go back to Virtua Fighter. That game is rough. I mean, iconic, sure, groundbreaking, absolutely.
You kind of wish it was Virtua Fighter 2.
I didn't put, very much.
Virtua Fighter 2 was miles better than the first one.
Great, yeah. No, the first Virtua Fighter, certainly an important game, not really a fun game to play.
This one's more just like a tech demo, really. Like it doesn't.
They're doing. I've said this for years, and it's nice to see that it's finally happening a little bit where they're doing these sort of arcade collections, because we've gotten to the point where it's easy to do.
Yeah,
but I would love to see Sega move into Model 1 and Model 2.
That would be
Model
nice.
3 arcade collections. It's time.
That'll happen.
It has to, but I hope it happens sooner rather than later, because I mean, these are sort of the games that they're talking about, and the era we're talking about here was sort of the golden age for Sega. Yeah. But I mean, the 90s, especially between Sega and Namco, man, they were releasing some great 3D games in the 90s. Both of them were.
Yeah.
And it'd be so nice to be able to play arcade perfect versions of those at home. Like we got a taste of it with like Virtual Racing and Daytona. But there's a lot of other stuff out there that I'd love to see arcade perfect versions of.
There no Outrun, which is a bummer. Yeah, because
again,
it's Outrun. We all love
D-pad.
Outrun. Yeah. But you know what? I played the hell out of the Genesis Outrun with the D-pad and had a blast with it. What else? Got a couple Wonder Boys on there, which is great. It has those weird puzzle and action games.
Tant-R
and Ichi-Dant-R. Yeah. Yep. It's got both of those on there. Weird. Those are, I had never played those before playing them now. And I guess they're like Bonanza Brothers spin-offs.
I don't know what came first, but yes, the Bonanza Brother characters are in them.
Yeah.
Huh.
And it's like I think it's Tant-R. The Bonanza Brothers are like, it's like a Sherlock Holmes kind of thing. Like one is dressed as Sherlock and one is dressed as Watson. And then Ichi-Dant-R, it's like they're medieval knights.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just a series of mini games.
Some of them are really good.
And I was cool. I was surprised I was kind of getting into them because they're fun little mini games.
They're kind of, I mean, I wouldn't put them up on the level of WarioWare, but like that's kind of what they remind me of.
I had the same thought.
Yeah.
When I was playing it. Yeah. It's I mean, they're not like micro games, they're actually, they're the mini games are more substantial, and you got to clear them like 3 times in a row to move on to the next stage. But yeah, they're fun little mini games. The problem with this being a Japanese product is, although when you first turn on the system, you get the option to choose what language you want. You can set English, but that only accounts for the menus. So all the text in the games is Japanese. So when here are the instructions for this mini game, it's like, I guess we'll see what happens.
And that's always been the problem on the various because I mean, I believe the Tant-R and Ichi-Dant games were on the Mega Drive Mini.
Well, they've
been on other collections.
They did a Sega Ages release.
Yes, they did.
That's right. Yeah, they did. Yeah, but I mean, they've never really been translated, right?
Yeah, I don't. As far as I know, they haven't.
Yeah, which is too bad. I'd love to see them translated, but I can't see spending the time on it because who the hell cares about those games?
No one's going to play this.
But it'd be cool to have them.
There were. I'm going to wrap this up real quick, but I wanted to mention 2 games that I had never played before, and I don't even know if these came out in the West. There's a fighting game on here called Dark Edge. Have you ever seen this game?
I've heard of it.
I don't
think I've ever played it.
I'm going to send you guys a YouTube link right here. Check that out. I highly recommend anyone listening go look up a gameplay video of Sega Dark Edge. It is
I'll link to it in the show notes just in
please
case.
It is a weird fighting game. It is not fun to play at all. I can't figure out any of the characters' moves. But
okay,
just look at it. It is wild looking because it's 2D. It's all sprite based.
It's like a super scalar game, right?
But it is, it's all super scale because like as you are fighting, the camera is sort of rotating around your characters, and like so you'll end up way in the background, and you can like run and jump into the screen to attack the enemy, and the camera keeps swinging around all over the place while you fight. It is very interesting to watch.
Really
it's a
hard to
cool
play.
effect, especially from the time it came out, and I don't even remember what year. It was 93. This was a 93 game. So it must have been incredible looking back in the day, but incredible looking doesn't necessarily translate to fun.
Sure.
But it's neat to have on there because I'd never even seen this game before. The other one is
Phil, I think Phil froze.
Yeah. Either that or he's still thinking.
a game called Arabian Fight kind of game.
Arabian Fight. Okay.
And played it. Huh?
We lost
Arabian
you.
Fight. Oh,
Arabian
Fight.
Fight.
Up. You lost me. So Arabian Fight. Arabian Fight is a game I had seen pictures of before, but never actually played. And again, I don't even know if it came out in the US or not.
Probably not.
But it's a side-scrolling beat 'em up, akin to Golden Axe or Streets of Rage or whatever.
Oh, this is the one where when you use like magic attacks, it's got a big close-up of the character, right?
Yeah. Well, what happens is it's there's a lot of scaling in the game. Like you can move in and out of the background, and your characters and the enemies scale as they get further and closer away. But then, like every now and again, you'll see an enemy pop up like right in front of the camera.
Yeah,
and it's all like really nice looking kind of hand-drawn anime art. And then they jump into the actual battlefield and you fight them. So you have like these, cool looking anime characters jumping into the frame and stuff. And then, when you do a magic attack, like your character on, in the battlefield will kind of do an attack, fire will start shooting out or whatever. And then like your character will leap up off the screen and then land like right in front of the camera. And again, it's all like nice hand-drawn looking early 90s anime character, and they'll yell out their special attack name, and then they'll leap back off screen and back into the battlefield.
It's cool that this sort of thing, like the more experimental stuff, is like a couple of those are showing up in these collections too.
It's a really neat little again, I played like the first stage or two of it, and it's it's not terrible. It's certainly not as good as like a Streets of Rage or Golden Axe or whatever, but it's interesting to play. It was kind of fun. I was having fun with it, certainly. So
I can't remember if I pre-ordered one of these things or not.
I
can't find a record of it.
I'm gonna guess maybe you didn't. Perhaps
so
you intended to.
I ordered one.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, I won't get it till the new year probably, but
did you get it from Amazon Japan?
Yeah.
Or okay, yeah.
And
that's
December
where I got
30th is the delivery date on it right now. I know that I ordered one of the D-pad controllers as well. I know they've both shipped.
Oh, okay.
So they might get here between Christmas and New Year's, but
maybe.
I will say, because this, I don't know what it is with Amazon Japan, because they ship stuff to the US via DHL.
Yeah.
And because I had the order for months or whatever. And then when it was getting ready to ship, it was like, oh, this is going to ship. It is scheduled to arrive on, because the thing was released on December 17th was its release date in Japan. And Amazon Japan said, oh, the scheduled delivery date is Christmas Eve, the 24th. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And then like the next day, it was like, oh, I got an email from DHL saying your package is scheduled to arrive on December 22nd. I was okay, cool, saving some time. And then December 18th hit, the day after this thing was released, and I got an email from DHL saying, your order is out for delivery. It'll be this, it's this,
It's here.
This
right?
thing showed up the day after it was released in Japan.
Yeah.
Pretty great.
I don't get stuff from Amazon US that quickly.
No, me neither.
So
I found also Amazon US, they'll, before you hit the order button, they'll say, oh, it delivers tomorrow. Yeah. And then you hit order. It's like, well,
did we say
Tomorrow?
tomorrow?
From now,
maybe in 6 more days you'll
We
get
meant
it.
tomorrow. Tomorrow.
Or oops, we don't know what happened to your package.
Yeah.
Should be arriving between this 4-day window.
Yeah, exactly.
And that happens a lot.
It does
right now, and it's very disheartening.
But yeah, kudos to Amazon Japan for being super
And
diligent.
DHL.
And DHL, absolutely. And this is
shout out to DHL.
every time I've ordered from Amazon Japan, it gets here lickety split.
Oh yeah,
fantastic. So
yeah,
but yeah, so yeah, if you are a Sega nerd, and I know Greg is, you should definitely you should pick one of these things up. I think you will get a kick out of it.
Nice.
Yeah,
right.
That's it. That's me.
All right. I've been playing some games. I played some more Phoenix Rising.
Yeah,
which is a great game, you guys. Like, if it's
man, you got to
like
stop selling this game.
$30 now on some of the digital stores and
like
Amazon.
Christmas is coming up.
Price. Yep.
So
Christmas is coming, CJ.
Like,
CJ.
What?
The stingiest of podcast hosts. Need something to play on that PS5.
Really should check it out because it's really good.
Tell me
it's
about
really
this Adventure Time DLC for it.
Yeah, so
this is the first thing that I've seen that's made me interested in playing this game.
So while I was playing, you bring up the pause menu and it says, here are the things you can buy, because it's an Ubisoft game. And of course they have to there's things you can buy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it said Adventure Time pack available now. It's like, oh my god, Adventure Time, that's kind of weird.
Yeah,
well, I want to look at what this is. It's basically skin for the main character, your mount, your bird companion that you get later on in the game, and like several different things to basically Adventure Time yourself up with Finn.
So it turns your main character into Finn, but not but it's like photorealistic. It's not like he doesn't look like Penn Ward drew him. It looks like
it looks like it is in this game world, but and then
the bird is Jake.
The bird is Jake,
and then the horse
amazing.
The horse is Lady Rainicorn.
Yes,
who is Jake's wife.
I don't know what we're talking about.
Adventure Time is a cartoon. It was on the Cartoon Network, debuted several years ago, created by Pendleton Ward, an animator.
That's right.
So,
right,
did you get this?
I did not get this note. Is about $15 in.
Oh my goodness!
Currency, I think.
Well, let me. Does it just change the look of those three characters? Does it have voice samples? Like, did they hire
I doubt.
Did he just say he has
samples? I doubt it has voice samples.
You don't have John DiMaggio encouraging you onward as you explore?
I can't imagine. No, because you can also buy the pieces separately.
Oh, really?
With currency, yeah.
No.
But it's pretty fantastic looking thing if you're into Adventure Time. Like, it might be fun to toy around with this. And in the game, I think I mentioned this last week, you get a lot of different weapons and armor and things, and you can basically transmogrify any piece of armor to look like another piece.
Okay.
So if you want to wear the Adventure Time armor, but have the perks of specific weapons and armor and helmets and things like that, you can do that. So you can make this your permanent armor set and all, the mount that you use and the bird pal.
Okay.
Yeah. And you won't be missing out on anything by using those customizations.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I think
to pay $15.
That's great. If you're going to pay for the ability, to make things look like Adventure Time. Yeah, you want to be able to use that stuff. But it's just a really fun. It's an Ubisoft video game, so obviously it's an open world, things all over the map type of game. But to me, and I said this on the podcast 2 weeks ago, I think, and somebody was like, "Really, a dense Ubisoft open world game? Is that right? A dense game?" It's like, yes, there's a lot of stuff to do. And you can do it if you want to or not. Like you can explore, or you can have the things pop up on your map and do them if you want. It's a very flexible game. It's very good. I highly recommend it. There's multiple difficulty levels. You play on easy. There's even a story difficulty that's easier than easy. So it's really
the first thing you said that makes me want to play it.
It's really quite good, and it's only like. Ubisoft has been discounting this game quite a bit, so you could you'll probably be able to find it for like $30 pretty soon.
Yeah,
but it's highly worth it. I bought it for $60. No regrets.
What's that like being a sucker?
I know, right? Where's my refund? No, I haven't run into any bugs. So
oh well, there you go. It's got one up on.
It's not faulty. It's not faulty.
Okay.
And it has cross save on everything through Ubisoft Connect, which is kind of nice. I've also been playing Among Us on the Switch. Played
Among Us
with my daughter. Among Us, and initially we kind of had a hard time finding a game.
That sounds a little sus.
That is sus.
Oh god.
Exactly. Because we'd open a lobby and we'd be sitting there and somebody would join and then they would immediately leave. Like, and two characters would join, and it's like not really enough players to start the game yet, and they would leave. So it's just like, come on. Like,
so a two player Among Us game is one person kills the other player, and then
at the end,
I think I know who did it.
Exactly.
I think it was the green fellow who I am controlling.
We did finally get into a couple of matches. We played together. Yeah. I was playing on the television. Mm-hmm. Charlotte was playing on her handheld device, and when she got to be
what handheld device?
Her Switch. Handheld.
Okay. Oh, okay, gotcha.
When she got to be the imposter,
device.
When she got to be the imposter, there was no poker face. She was like,
I'm killing everybody, Daddy.
It was like, let me guess, you're the imposter.
Did she go? Yes. Did she kill you?
She did, in fact, kill me. Yes.
Look at that. Look at that. The ultimate betrayal.
She killed me.
Yep. Top 10 anime betrayals.
You know, I mean, that's there's no better demonstration of the father-daughter relationship. Yeah. Eventually, they're all going to kill us.
Very Shakespearean.
So very much so. Yeah. She killed me in the first game, and then the second game where she was also the imposter, she killed somebody else, and I helped her deceive the other players.
Oh, you're one of those players.
Because Among Us is a social deception game. Yeah,
also,
up to 10 players.
Perfect example of the father-daughter relationship.
Yeah,
exactly.
CJ throws his morals right out the window the second he needs to lie.
Provided an alibi for my
daughter. I saw my daughter. She was by herself the whole time. I think it's this other dude.
My perfect innocent little angel.
That's correct. That's correct. Yeah, but it's up to 10 players can play. It is cross-platform, mobile, v PC, v Switch, and I guess also coming to Xbox Game Pass on Xbox.
Yeah,
currently it's on Xbox Game Pass on the PC. So,
did you play with any famous politicians?
No, did not at all. But I played with several characters who had Naruto screen names.
Of course you did.
It was kind of funny.
Did.
Yeah, but so with the control pad, you do everything with a control pad. So Among Us is probably best played with on a mobile device with the touchscreen, because if you are just a crewmate and not the imposter, you have to do different things around the spaceship stage that you're on. So you're given like 4 different tasks. You have to go to various areas of the ship and do those tasks to either once everybody does all of their tasks, you can escape, or if the imposters are able to kill people, kill the entire crew, then you lose. But or you can find out who the imposter is and eject them, and then you can win. But with a controller, it's a little difficult because a lot of these things are made for touchscreens. So there's things like number keypads that you have to type a passcode into, or like connect wires from one side of the screen to the other. So you have to do that with a control pad. It's a lot more fiddly than if you're just doing it with a mouse and keyboard or with a touchscreen. Yeah. Okay. But it is pretty fun. We've got a game scheduled with our relatives tomorrow. We're going to play like a 8-player Among Us game. Man. We're going to hook up like a FaceTime call or something, and then also be playing on our devices. It's going to be great. Perfect kind of game for the holidays, right?
But I will say, because like I was talking about earlier, Finn has gotten super into Among Us. He's also
watches Among Us videos all the time.
Well, and he's also gotten way into Roblox lately. Like way into Roblox. You know what though? Roblox, man, and what a mess that game is. I mean, it looks looks like one big alpha build.
Yes.
But I'll tell you what though, him and he's got like maybe half a dozen of his classmates. And like after they're done with their little telecommuting school thing, they will all hop into Roblox.
Yep.
And they'll just chat with each other and run around doing whatever stupid crap they're doing in that game. And they have a blast though. You know, he's playing
That's
some
how my
game.
Daughter did it too.
Yeah, and it's like I don't get Roblox. I have no desire to get Roblox. Roblox looks like trash.
It does.
But
it really does.
Holy cow.
It's really, because the thing what I found was it scratches that itch for actually it's the same reason that my daughter's still playing Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
She got to build houses.
Yeah, well, that's just it.
All they ever did in Minecraft too was build houses, because I was constantly being given tours of the houses they were building. So lets them do that. And then you have all these little activities and like that are like voting activities that are really short and simple. Like there's my daughter always played one. It was like a fashion show, and you'd be in a room and you could pick a bunch of different items that you can attach to your character, and then each person would go up onto a pad and the whole crew would vote.
It's called Fashion Famous.
Thank you. But I mean, it's little things like that, right? Or there'd be like just courses they had to run and things like it. But all it was just something to do while they were chatting with each other.
Well, that's exactly it. And it's like he's really into. There's one where it's just basically like you're building houses and getting pets.
Meep City. Is it Meep City?
Adopt me, adopt us.
Oh, maybe
it's adopt something. I think it might be but yeah, it's just they collect they get eggs or something, and they hatch pets out of them, and they trade the pets with each other and stuff like that. And they're just and there's another one where it's like a shark game. Like one player is a shark and everyone else is in boats trying to kill the shark before they get eaten, kind of thing. And they're just it's I honestly think Roblox is, I mean, it's been good for him just this year, when he can't go outside and he can't hang out with his friends at school or at recess, or he can't go over and play at some other kid's house on the weekends or whatever. They'll just sit around after school, or like earlier today, and they'll just sit and chat and play these different games with each other. It's been great.
It's been I mean, our major restrictions were lifted in time for the school year to start in September, but when we were homeschooling the end of last school year, I quickly changed my rules on devices and things like that, because I originally set them on schedules where it's like you can use a device or play video games or something for this amount of time every day during this window, and then I want you like outside or reading a book or something else. And I quickly changed that when I realized that games like that were the way they were interacting with their friends. Like that was how they were talking to them and when they were talking to them. So I kind of Yeah, we extended device time and game time a lot longer just because of the socialization aspect.
Yeah,
you really kind of have to.
For as crappy as that game looks and probably is, it's something simple that they can just kind of just have fun while they're.
That's very true.
This is how they're socializing now.
There's nothing wrong with the game. You just have to be careful about letting them or exposing them to be chatting with other people.
Yeah, well, that's we've kind of. I mean, they can certainly chat amongst themselves, but like and Finn knows not to go chatting with strangers or when people come up to him.
As much I have to say, Finn's not a girl, which probably makes it a little easier.
Yeah,
because my daughter's chat was open at one point, and I happened, and she didn't respond to any of them. But holy God, just creepy as hell.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I have that turned
off.
Good luck, CJ. On my daughter's account, turned off chat.
But she can chat with her friends, right?
She can chat with her friends, and that's it.
Yeah, that's what we have with Finn as well. We have it. Yeah, anyone who's his friend, he can chat with, and it's obviously only befriending.
But Among Us does not have that restriction. Among Us has obviously the open chat. And,
right.
That's bad. Maybe.
Has that been a problem though? Are people being creepy in Among Us?
I don't know that I've heard that people are being creepy in Among Us, but it does have chat.
Yeah,
I think it does have like profanity filters or some kind of filter.
Right. Yeah.
I tried to type in there that somebody was killed in the admin room. It wouldn't let me say admin. I was like, why is this not letting me say admin? It just put it into asterisks. And,
probably just because they don't want people to pretend like they are
maybe
admins. Well, you know what?
Could be.
Finn had something similar in what's it called, Roblox, where he like made a house or something, and he tried to call it like Roblox headquarters or something. Just
sure.
He's just
thing like that.
This is my headquarters in Roblox, but it censored out headquarters, and he was asking me why, and I was like, it's probably because
a dirty word. Look it up on Urban Dictionary. Headquarters.
You never did the old headquarters. Maybe when you're older, I'll explain that one to you. But it's just they don't want anything that might imply some sort of official.
That's true. I'm not sure if that's the case on Among Us Switch, but maybe
it sounds like it is though. I mean, if they're censoring admin, they probably don't want people. Oh, hey, I'm an
admin.
I'm an admin.
Yeah,
give me your password. Yeah. Which is surely something that someone would try.
Probably true. Yeah. I couldn't even say it with spaces in between all the letters.
Oh, really?
Like I suddenly started trying to like game the system so I could say admin. Wouldn't let me.
CJ's like, I've been on the internet for 30 years. I got this.
CJ's very devoted to this scam he was trying to run.
I'm smarter than all these hackers today.
I'm going to get these 10-year-olds passwords if it takes every last fiber of my being.
My first site was GeoCities. I know what I'm doing.
GeoCities. I'm going to ask Jeeves.
Yeah. That's cheap. Fancy lad. I went Alta Vista.
Alta Vista all the way.
Ask Jeeves was a piece of garbage.
Even in the day, Ask Jeeves was trash.
Yeah, especially when it was the thing that people said, like, go to Ask Jeeves to find things on the internet. It's like, nope.
No. I went straight to Alta Vista. That was my engine of choice.
There you go.
For searchings.
Speaking of websites, I've also been playing a slightly different game.
God, and that is still in what you've been playing. Okay,
we really are
setting up a website. It's the year 2020, and I'm making a website.
Does it have under construction gifts? Because if it doesn't, I'm not going.
Is this a real thing, or is this a bit?
This is not a bit.
Is this you?
Not a bit. I'm making a website for real.
You are making a website.
Yes,
it's called BitMob.
I'm making a website.
BitMob.
So 2020 obviously has been very difficult for a lot of people.
Not me, baby. I'm flying high.
Flying high. And I think I may have mentioned it on the show, but maybe not. Like, I'm basically like helping Charlotte, my daughter, with her online learning, like stay focused and things like that, and getting her out of my wife's hair. My wife works from home. She has a freelancing business.
Somebody has to.
Yeah.
Very well. So I gotta keep my daughter away from out of my wife's hair, right? So we go. My wife rented an office that at first was going to be for her to go to and work during the day and get away from us, but it became me and Charlotte going to this office instead. Got banished to the office, which was good because Charlotte has like no distractions there, right? Like,
right.
This is basically an office. There's no like video games or toys.
Except now, every 5 minutes, her dad is like, "Hey, come look at my website. Does this look good?
How's the kerning on this headline? Is it good?
Wow.
The spacing good?
Would you click more?
Yeah.
Take a look at this heat map.
Give me a good call to action.
Heat map. Actually, she'd probably love that.
She probably would. So basically, I go to an office, and while my daughter is doing her thing, I'm either watching YouTube videos or listening to podcasts or reading or whatever. Not doing.
I love. Can we just stop and just appreciate this a little bit? That CJ's wife stays home.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she can work.
Yeah.
CJ has rented an office.
Yeah. I haven't done it. She rented it.
She rented an office for
his
CJ.
Wife is
paying for him to go to an office where he does not work.
True. He just listens to podcasts.
He watches YouTube and listens to podcasts while he parents their daughter, who also has to go to the office.
Chris, how much is it going to cost me to get you out of my hair for a few hours?
I found
because I will pay this price.
The rental for this office.
Yeah.
That's right. God. So that's what I've been doing since the school year began. And I had a lot of time on my hands, as you might
clearly
have, surmised from that. And so I started thinking about what I can do, things to do while I'm at the office.
Are you? Let me.
Right.
I'm going to ask you a
productive things.
Logistical question here. So you are in this office.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
It's one of those rental offices.
By the way, you're living the dream. I've always thought that it would be great to be able to like have a rental office just to go somewhere to do.
You're in there like 5 days a week.
My wife takes Fridays. She goes with my daughter on Fridays.
So are you the only person who uses that specific office?
You mean the specific office, like we go into the office?
Yeah.
The space you're in.
Yeah, the office space that you are in. Are you the only one using that ever?
Yes.
Okay. So you could have you taken like a TV and like hooked up your Xbox in there? So you can play
really?
No.
I really
I have not. No.
Okay.
No. The Wi-Fi is not good enough.
That's the reason.
Wow.
No, CJ, that was ridiculous.
That was a perfect no. This is quality time with my daughter moment.
Yeah.
I'm parenting here. Please. Don't bother me.
I haven't, but let me explain why.
My opinion of you has just gone like this whole episode.
I've used the Xbox app to try to do remote play.
Of course you have.
It does not.
Absolutely you have.
Did not work out.
A man can only be away from Sea of Thieves.
Honey, I need a different office
hours.
space.
The Wi-Fi is not fast enough.
Wi-Fi sucks in this one.
Right.
CJ's got an Ethernet cable running down the highway.
Exactly. But so I've been thinking about things to do since our current situation.
Since you can't play Sea of Thieves. Anyway.
No, doesn't. That too. Our current situation in terms of like going back to school doesn't seem to be like necessarily at an end, or there's not really an end in sight for that. So it's like, what can I do that feels productive during this time when I'm at the office? And I have something to like push my time into, a project. Yes. So after thinking about it, I have decided to make a website
You've realized the future is in the internet.
The future is in the internet.
Getting in on that
Exactly
.com
right.
bubble.
Exactly. And the website has the very original name, secondplayer.net, which I registered 2 years ago and didn't do anything with.
Oh, wow.
But now I am doing something with it. And I've gone through like a couple different iterations of what I was going to do with it, but it centers around two things. First of all,
I just went there and all I see is a big picture of Jeff Grubb.
I know.
So I'm already in. You're already on the concept. Yes.
But basically, I have a lot of friends who either make videos for a small YouTube channel, Greg, Generation 16, or they host podcasts.
You just called your YouTube channel small.
It is.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that.
Okay.
Or they make podcasts that are on the small side. And a lot of the conversations I've had with people who do that are about discoverability and finding an audience and trying to grow their audience. And so I thought, like, is there a way that I can help? Is there a small way that I can help these folks who have great shows, great content, like help find an audience type thing? Because if you're somebody like Greg who's doing Generation 16 and you do an episode that you think is really good, like IGN's not going to cover that episode. Maybe they should, but
that
IGN or GameSpot are not going to like cover that video, right? They're just not. So is there, or if you do like a really good podcast episode with a really good interview, like a pro outlet isn't going to say, hey, go listen to this.
It's one of the problems with
podcast.
all this stuff.
And likewise, places like Apple Podcasts, I mean, every podcast ends their show with, please rate us on iTunes. That helps discoverability. I'm not sure that it does, really.
Should we be ending our show like that? We don't do that.
It wouldn't make a difference.
We don't do it, but it wouldn't make a difference anyway.
Okay.
And you go through Apple Podcasts and look at the video game section, and they really favor the larger outlets. Like if you're launching a podcast now in the video game space, good luck to you, sort of thing, right? Like it's really hard out there for just discoverability for some of this content. So I thought, okay, here's the idea. I'm going to make this website basically an aggregator of podcasts and videos. Those are going to be the focus, just those two things. Focus episode by episode. People who are doing good things and should have a larger audience or should have a spotlight shown on them. So that's the idea. And it's something that I can do during that time from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
when you're not allowed in the house.
That I'm not allowed in the house. I could do this. So I needed to find something sustainable that I could do during that 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. time scale that I thought would help people be useful, like be informative, like really try to push things forward. And that's like, I threw a lot of things at the wall. I had a lot of different ideas, but this is the one to me that stuck. So I've kind of soft launched it, but trying to do new content for it now every day that I'm in the office. And I'm going to see how it goes. So secondplayer.net, I have a Discord server. It's for people who love podcasts and videos and for people who make podcasts and videos. And we'll see where it goes. I have a couple of different like plans down the line, but we're going to start with this sort of minimum viable product and see how many things I can stack on top and still keep it sustainable. So
I love that you used minimum viable product.
I know, right?
It's nice.
Buzzword.
It's great.
But already, so I sort of like revealed on Twitter that I'm doing this site, and already I've gotten some submissions of videos and podcasts from people.
Cool.
Where it's like, this is really cool. Like, this is a really cool interview, or this is a really cool thing that I didn't even know about. Like, and this is something that I already want to like share with other people because it's cool stuff. So anyway, I wanted to try to help in some way, help my friends who make videos and podcasts who are concerned about discoverability. We'll see if that works. So
we'll see if you can get my channel over 5,000 subscribers.
Ideally, I'd like to do that. I'd like to help you with that. That would be excellent. That would be like, if I'm able to help you in any way like that, that would be achieving my goal with this site. So
sweet.
How many subscribers do you have now, Greg?
I've been hovering between 44 and 4,500 for a long time.
Okay.
Doesn't the growth has kind of stopped there. So
you
Hopefully
deserve
we'll
more.
spike it.
I think so too.
But
Your videos
But I
are quite
appreciate
good.
that.
the
And
whole
they
thing
are
with
outstanding.
YouTube, though, the whole thing with
Yeah.
YouTube, and I agree, Greg's videos are outstanding.
The 2 I've watched.
I've watched more than 2.
3 is
But-
more than 2.
But on YouTube, like the algorithm favors negative leaning videos.
Yes.
Like
Right,
what's
right.
wrong with Cyberpunk 2077? Everybody's making those videos now.
Yeah.
Or like, so I wanted to get away from that. I wanted this to be more about positive leaning stuff and stuff that, you know, is interesting, like that took more time than just a long play or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So discoverability sucks on YouTube.
Big time.
And if you're a channel that wants to get more subs, that you have to do videos like on a really regular basis. And a lot of channels now are just like filled with just clickbait stuff that's not great. So hopefully this site works as a nice filter for people who just want to listen to a good podcast episode about video games or watch a video during their lunch break like I wanted to when I'm sitting at the office. Anyway,
I think it's a good idea. I hope
Yeah.
that it moves the needle for people because that is a huge problem.
we will see, and that is the goal, to move the needle. And like on every entry in here, I'm linking to all the channels like where people can find this person's stuff in case they want to dig into their catalog deeper or support them on Patreon. Like that's really important to me to attribute all of that stuff and make sure that the creators are getting value out of this project as well. So I'm getting value just out of doing it. So,
right. Cool.
Anyway, that's what I've
Very
been
nice.
playing. Greg?
I'm gonna keep it short because wow, this has been a long episode. I think it's been good though. Really, the only thing that I wanted to say, because I'm still playing Sackboy: A Big Adventure, and I'm still enjoying it, but it's definitely, I'm a little over halfway through it, and I feel like I've experienced it. You know what I
Really?
mean? Like it's starting to feel like a bit of a treadmill. And I saw that it won some awards this week, I think, for sound design or something like that, which I don't get entirely, but it's not bad. It doesn't seem really super exceptional to me either. So I don't know. It seems pretty, it's gone from I was really, really into it to it's like, I don't know if I'm going to pick this up and play it right now or not. But maybe I'm just got to get over that hump and spend some more time with it and see. Another game that I played this week that actually finished on Twitch this week was the Terminator for Sega CD.
Oh, nice.
Which I love that game. That game's
That's
really
a
good.
good game.
Yeah, and it's got. I have to say it. I posted this on Twitter when I was announcing that I was playing it. It's got a kick-ass soundtrack. By Tommy Tallarico.
Yeah.
And it's not a Terminator soundtrack. Like when you hear it, it's very sort of hard rock guitars and synth and everything like that. Like it's, Terminator's what soundtrack there was in Terminator. There was a little bit of pop music and some techno, but like always background, right? And then otherwise just sort of plotting monster music more than anything else, because that's really what that movie was. But yeah, like the soundtrack is just one of those games where you want to just crank it as loud as possible. And like while I was playing it, I couldn't help but just be humming along to it and sort of dancing along to it. But one of the reasons why I was really happy that I was playing it was a donor request game. That I said this on the stream. I was really happy I was playing it because one of the reasons I loved the 16-bit era. There's a lot of different reasons, but we've talked about this before, that the Super Nintendo and Genesis and Turbo all had a very specific look and feel. Like you could tell generally by looking at something what system it was on, right?
Yeah.
And because of the various limitations and advantages each system had, and that also led to more so than the 8-bit era, because in the 8-bit era the NES was king. Everybody just made games for that, and then there was some games for other systems. But where you had, especially between the Super Nintendo and Genesis, where it was a very close to a 50-50 split for a good chunk of the early 90s, like probably, from like 91 through to 93 or 4, you had a lot of these games coming out across multiple systems, and especially the licensed stuff coming out across multiple systems. And Terminator on Sega CD is a great example of how you would get completely different games, sometimes from the same publisher, sometimes from different publishers. And like there's a Terminator game, and also weirdly that it was a 1984 movie that came out in 1992 in video game form. There was an NES game, but like the Super Nintendo version came out, I think 92, was from Mindscape. I think Probe did it, maybe. No, it wasn't Probe. I forget who created it, but that was one game. Then there was a Genesis game that was from Virgin Interactive that was developed by Probe and Dave Perry. It was a Dave Perry game before Dave Perry moved on to not Shiny so much, but Virgin's internal development, and then the team became Shiny. But I didn't even realize that he did that while he was at Probe, which is a completely different game than the Sega CD game, which he's thanked him, but I don't think he did anything more than they used the same engine, I think, that he was using for his games. But it's just, for me, it's always been a great example of sort of the type of things you were seeing back then. And so it actually made it worth it to try the same game on the 3 different consoles, because they were completely different games, not even ports of one another. But this one is my favorite one. I really, the Super Nintendo one, I've never really played. The Genesis one was not good. Terminator on the Genesis wasn't great. But Terminator on the Sega CD was fantastic, and I ended up playing through it that night and enjoyed every second of it. So, yeah, that was really it for me. I haven't played much else new. Hopefully, I'll play more this week because I'm not working this week.
Boom shakalaka. All right, then that means it's time for tweets. All right, let's do this one from hacker alias Mumbo Jumbo Aw, which means Australia, I think. They say,
is it AU?
AU, yeah.
That is gold.
Gold?
That means gold.
Yeah, okay. Well, have you ever considered the possibility that your podcast recordings may be listened to by your kids in the future? What do you think they'd find most interesting about listening through the back catalog? And do you have anything you'd like to tell their future selves?
I would hope my son has better things to do with this time.
A lot of hours of podcasting.
Yeah.
Quite frankly.
No, I never considered that.
Now you will?
I mean,
God, Dad was annoying.
Yeah, well, he knows that.
I know.
He knows that.
He was always annoying.
Yeah. Yeah. Is this like what's the context here? Is this like maybe when he's a teenager he's gonna go back and listen to his dad acting a fool, or is this like a Phil is long dead and his digital ghost remains haunting YouTube?
Wow, you expect that you're going to be dead by the time Finn's a teenager?
Well, no. It's the teenager thing, or does sometime,
or in the future, will the recordings from the Player One podcast be used to create an AI Phil that will?
Oh God,
there's the dream.
Delight and entertain with his
there's
Bane
the dream.
impression.
Oh my goodness, we could have simulated Phil androids.
Doesn't want that. Yeah.
Grow them in a lab.
Phil
Perfect. Yeah.
I don't think I ever thought about it, but I'm
you know
fine
what?
with it if they want to.
I absolutely do.
If Charlotte wants to listen back.
Which is why I try not to swear very much. It's entirely because I don't want my kids listening to it and hear me cursing like a sailor.
Right.
Is it really?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. I think it would be interesting. I mean, I was thinking about it from the context of actually kind of what Phil said, long dead and gone.
Mm-hmm.
That's that, I think it would be neat. I mean, I certainly feel like it would, even before my dad passed, I think it would have been neat to have recorded conversations of his
Completely. Yeah.
from before I was born. Right.
Well, that's the thing.
Just-
It's like, it's so easy to do these days.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You know, because I mean, even like in the early 70s, people weren't walking around with video cameras all the time.
Right.
And,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Right.
Sometimes, you know, if you were lucky enough that they had a job where they were recorded, you might have voice recordings. But
Yeah.
I've often and when this tweet came in, I kind of thought that I was like, I'd love to, you know, because like my dad, when I was born, he was racing, he was driving, but he retired from driving so young, when I was so young, that I have no memory of it.
Right.
I know he was driving while I was alive, but not, you know, long enough for me to remember it.
Mhm.
So I was thinking like, boy, I would love to hear him speaking at length about something he was passionate about, especially when he was a young man before I was born, or just when he was starting his family.
Mhm.
And this tweet got me thinking, like, this is the show is kind of that. It's a
kinda is,
record
yeah.
of that.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
You know, so I like to hope that, or think that maybe someday that something they might, I don't think they should listen to all 1,000 episodes or whatever we end up with by the end. But you know, and the other thing is too, is I know that I personally have gone back and listened to some of the earlier episodes, and other people who've gone back and said, like, you know, we're different people now than we were then.
That's true.
Obviously. And it's kind of surprising to go back and listen, and you hear yourself say things that you're like, I would never say, I don't think that way anymore. Like, that's not me anymore, but it was me 14 years ago. So, you know, I do think about that, and I think it would be really cool, and I hope that they do someday.
Yeah.
Well, Finn, if you're going to listen to any, listen to 666. That one's pretty funny.
Definitely.
Listen to the Christmas song ones. Those are always amusing, you know.
And listen to the one where Rich Grisham really talks us up.
Yeah, that's the important
About
part.
your dad.
Yeah, about how great we are, because boy,
Completely undeserved.
we're absolutely just wonderful.
Right.
But yeah, it
All
is.
right.
It is weird to think, though. I mean, one of these days we're going to wake up dead, and there's still going to be hundreds of hours
That's
of
true.
us existing.
That's in
That's
your will, right,
theoretically
CJ?
forever.
You're going to keep paying to have these hosted well after you're dead, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the archives
Sure.
are up on YouTube. We're not paying for YouTube.
some of them.
It's true.
Yeah.
Well, some, I
half
mean,
of them.
True.
some of them. I mean, some of them is still several years worth at this point,
That's
right?
very true. That is
So,
very true.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do this one from Hacker Alias Rambus Dunk, who says, I'd like to hear your wild guesses on the order in which we will see Metroid Prime 4, Breath of the Wild 2, and the Switch Pro. I got a good one. I got a good one. Good guess on this.
Really.
I'm
let's hear it.
guessing Switch Pro first, Breath of the Wild 2 second, and Metroid Prime 4 last.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
pretty much my guess as well.
Yeah.
I have no idea, and I am going given my
yes.
employer, I am going to
I will
refrain
be abstaining from
from
this.
guessing, because even though I absolutely have no idea, and there's no reason I would, I don't want to make a guess that is correct on the very,
Probably
very
for
off chance that my guess would be correct, and then someone would be like, oh, wait a second, how did he know? So
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
All right, let's do this one from Hacker Alias I finally watched, who said, is there a game that you wish would continue to have DLC made for it? Any system, old or new?
Well, I'd sure love some more Mario Kart 8 characters.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't believe that Nintendo hasn't gone back to that well.
Me neither.
I just want, then I know the Mario Kart name is obviously money,
Yeah.
but I would love for them to just morph that into Super Smash Kart.
I mean, they're still
Yeah.
going to call it Mario Kart, but they can call it like
Do what Sega
Nintendo
did.
Cup or
Do what Sega did. Sonic and All Stars Racing.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
It
Mario,
was just basically
Mario,
a celebration of their history in racing.
Mario,
form.
and Smash Kart.
yeah.
Yeah,
I just hope that whatever the next one is, that it's good.
Oh, it'll be good.
Because like Mario Kart's before 8 kind of like varied in quality. Like between 64 and 8, you have quite a variance
I think in hindsight that's true, but I think in the moment, I've never been disappointed by a Mario Kart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like looking back over it, I could take or leave like Mario Kart Wii. I don't have much memory of Mario Kart Wii, but when Mario Kart Wii came out, I played a lot of it.
Yeah.
It's true. But looking back on it, 8 is just so much better than it or 7. But again, when 7 came out, I played a ton of it. I really enjoyed it. But looking back on it, sure, I'd say, they varied in quality. But I mean, they're varying in quality in a bracket that's so slim, that's all quality in general.
Yeah. But the thing now, Mario Kart 8, I think, is so high quality. Like, they have quite a, quite a lot of big shoes to fill if they attempt something there. I wish they'd just expand it. Just charge me an extra $60 and like just expand the existing. If they double the amount of content that's in it or something like that, and they charge me again, I'll be all for it.
I'd definitely like to. I'd like them to be doing more DLC for it, or move on to Mario Kart 9, but keep up what they were, like what you said, what they were doing, expanding it outside the Mario universe. Or even, and also continue taking some of the older tracks and reimagining them in the new engine.
Yeah.
Because that's
which they were doing obviously for 8.
Yeah.
All right.
Animal Crossing would be a good one for extended DLC as well. I mean, I know just the nature of Animal Crossing is that you have a year's worth of content, with like right now you have the kind of Christmassy bits and there's going to be like probably a Valentine's thing or something. But once you kind of cycle through with the year worth of activities, it just kind of repeats itself, right?
Actually, what do you think year 2 on Animal Crossing is even going to look like? Is it going to be just repeating the last year of content, or is it going to be we're going to like redo some of this stuff? Like, hated the Easter egg hunt from last year, so we're going to redo some of that.
I'm assuming it would be the former, but it would be very cool if they, and not even and like wildly mix up the stuff. It'd be great if next year's Thanksgiving thing is vastly different from this year's, with like new furniture and new characters coming into the town.
Right.
I agree.
That would be,
I would prefer that approach, honestly.
Right.
But whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Just keep making DLC for Sea of Thieves. I'll be fine.
Stop it.
All right. Let's do one more. What do you think? Let's do this one from Miso Such Us, who says, listening to countless hours of P1 podcasts, I cannot get over your reverence of retro gaming. How have you maintained this? I am of the same generation and owned a majority of consoles since the Atari 2600. It is painful playing classic retro games.
Well, it really depends on which retro games you're playing.
That is very true. Some have aged well, some have not. You're not going to be sitting there playing Combat in 2020 being like, I'm having a great time.
I can't play Atari 2600 games for more than a couple minutes.
Yeah, I can't either.
Same here.
No,
I enjoy them, but
NES games, it really depends on what the game is.
Yeah,
I mean, mostly it's out of Nintendo's catalog.
Honestly. You know what? Nintendo, Capcom, and Konami.
Well, that's true. Okay,
I
you're right on that.
I can play Contras and Castlevanias for, I can play through them. I can, obviously I still love the old Mega Man games.
Yeah, you get outside of some of those larger licensees, though.
Yeah. You're not going to be, playing an Acclaim game on the NES.
You're not going to be playing Nightshade for very long on Nintendo Switch Online.
Although
Cobra Triangle
is Nightshade. Is that a Konami game?
I think it is actually.
Because that was an Ultra game, right?
They didn't make it though, did they?
I don't know.
I don't even know what Nightshade is, other than it came out last week.
I believe NES Nightshade.
I think you're right that it's an Ultra Games game.
Yeah.
Chrome Studios Melbourne developed it.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Is it
Okay.
good? I've never played it.
I've never played it either.
Chrome did some
Don't
good
really
stuff.
care.
True.
I mean, I'll check it out.
Developed by Chrome Studios or Beam Software.
Okay.
Game was received poorly for its complicated yet not adjustable controls.
Okay. Well, maybe not, but we'll see.
Maybe not.
We'll see. But I mean, it really does depend.
It does
I mean,
depend.
And I, and like SNES or Genesis games. So there's a fair number of SNES and Genesis games that I can still play. I mean,
absolutely, yeah.
I
I
lot
find
of that stuff holds up.
It's a comfort
Again,
food thing
with
for a lot of them.
like
It's also
PS1
true.
stuff, early 3D stuff, like it varies quite a bit. Again, because a lot of the just developers getting their head around making a 3D game.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like interface problems, camera problems, like
Those are the ones I find harder to go back to than
that
the
sort
old
of extends
NES and 16.
Yeah, it sort of extends even to the Xbox 360. Like you play a lot of some of those Xbox 360 games like Fable. I loaded up Fable 2 because a streamer that my daughter watches really was replaying it.
I really enjoy
It's
Fable
like-
too.
It's like, wow, like some of this interface stuff is just atrocious. Atrocious design in
But I mean-
2020, but
Going back to what the original question is, I totally get not being able to go back to those games.
absolutely.
If that makes sense.
it
But
does.
yeah, for me, it's like Phil's saying, there are certain games like the Mega Man games are a wonderful example, especially 1, 2, and 3, that you it's almost like just slipping on a really comfortable pair of shoes. It's just, it's not about the challenge. It's about reliving it.
And I mean,
yes,
good gameplay is good gameplay.
Yeah.
Mario
agree.
3 is
Yeah.
always going to be
Yeah.
a top tier video game. I mean, the graphics and the sound may not be today's standards, but it still looks nice. It still sounds nice, and it still plays incredibly well.
Same thing with like something like Outrun. I could play I can just play Outrun over and over again, and that's why I was so happy when it started being re-released on like the DS and then the Switch, because just firing it up and playing it for 10 minutes, the music and the gameplay and it's everything about it. It's like, this is just comfortable.
Yep.
All right, I think that's a show.
All right.
Yeah. Alrighty, and that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question for us or would like to comment on something you heard, you can direct that to @P1Podcast on the Twitters, or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find our contact information. You'll find the Sega CD entries, blog entries, Mr. Greg Seward.
That's sort of where I came up with the whole thing about I was a different person back then, because Ben Rivers has been reading through those starting at the beginning, which was about 10 years ago that I started doing those.
Oh, wow.
And he was just like, you don't sound like you in some of those reviews.
Funny. You'll find Generation 16 episodes as well.
Yeah, I broke ground on the project file for the new episode.
Nice.
So the script's been written and VO's been recorded and all the footage has been recorded, and I have lots of spare time this week. So I'm thinking
very
that
excellent.
I'll get a long way.
Nice.
Yes. And you'll find show notes and links to all the things that we talked about. You'll also find a link to our Discord server where you can discuss this episode with us and our other listeners.
You know what, real quick, before I go into my little outro spiel, I'm gonna give a shout out to the little thing that we did last week for one of our listeners, just because I thought it was really cool, and I think he would appreciate getting a shout out on the actual show. So there's a kid who listens to
Not
our
a kid
show.
anymore.
Well, he's not a kid anymore.
No.
He just had his bar mitzvah. His kid's name, this young man,
Hacker
His name-
alias.
huh?
Hacker alias.
Well, what is his hacker alias? I don't know his hacker alias. I know his first name.
What's his name?
Can we say his name? Yeah, his
hacker
actual
alias.
his name is Jake. His name is Jake. So Jake he was 12. He's 13 now, and he just had his bar mitzvah. And his dad, apparently, this kid, this young man, listens to our show. I don't know why.
How'd that happen?
A preteen, now teenager, is listening to 40-something old men going on about how great Castlevania was. But hey,
True.
whatevs. But his dad, apparently, he really enjoys our show, and his dad reached out to us and asked us to basically do like one of those cameo things.
Yes.
Mhm.
Hey, would you, could you guys record a little something just congratulating
I'm going to
him?
be honest. We didn't
Yeah.
take any money for him. We did way better than the cameo things.
Oh, absolutely. And
They
we were
They did support us on Patreon.
Oh, did they? Okay.
His dad supported us.
We
on-
didn't ask them to.
We
No,
didn't ask them to.
no.
No.
Jake, don't tell your dad, but we would have done it for free.
Totally.
Don't tell him though.
I think we all read the email and were like, "Oh yeah, we're doing
Yeah,
this."
absolutely. Of course we're doing this. Why wouldn't
Of
we?
course.
So yeah, we recorded a little thing, just giving a shout out to Jake for being awesome and for having really crappy taste in podcasts.
Yes.
And it was super cool. And apparently, well, not apparently, he was delighted by it. He sent CJ a message.
Yep.
But yeah, we thought it was great. We were happy to do it. And again, Jake, congratulations.
Congrats.
You're awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. I hope you find better things to do with your life than listen to us, because there's plenty of better things to do. But no,
Pretty great.
it's super cool though. So yeah, again, Mazel Tov, congratulations. Jake, you're awesome. So there you go. I just thought it was cool. And
Yeah, me too.
We were so happy to do it.
Absolutely.
But I'll tell you what, if you would like to subscribe to the Player One podcast, you can just visit.
Wow. Whoa.
Yeah,
a rare
whoa.
Phil
That
slip
was-
up.
Yeah.
I got my mouth started moving faster than my brain, which happens. If you would like to subscribe to the Player One podcast, you can do by visiting playeronepodcast.com or by loading up your favorite podcast listening application. We're also on Spotify. We're on Stitcher Radio. You can like us on Facebook. You can watch video archives from, as we mentioned earlier, the past several years of our show, or you can watch us live sometime. Well, most weeks at the youtubes.com/P1 podcast. Follow our Twitter account at P1 podcast to find out when we are doing our next live show. Typically, it is Sunday nights at 5:30 specific time.
Correct.
So join us then, won't you?
Yeah.
If you've liked what you've heard, and how could you can head over to patreon.com/P1 podcast. Throw a few shekels our way. CJ has some office space that he has to pay for because his
I don't pay
wife
for it.
his wife needs to get him out of the house. And can you blame her, folks?
That's right.
Can you blame her?
It was really just because my daughter and I were making too much noise as I was trying to get her to focus on her work.
That's awesome.
Oh, of course.
I know, right? It's crazy. 2020.
Oh,
this
there it is.
Topsy turvy.
But yes, your Patreon support does keep our Zoom, and it keeps the lights on here at the Player One podcast. We absolutely do appreciate it tremendously, of course.
Yeah.
And if you are a Patreon supporter of the $5 tier,
Cheap.
you gain access to a special weekly bonus episode that we record right after this, where we play games, we crack wise, we have fun doing all the things we can't do on the regular show due to FCC regulations and our oppressive government bodies. Seize the means of production.
Was it Starship Troopers suddenly?
I don't even. Oh man, if it was,
God.
I don't think
We've talked about this. Yeah.
was. I don't think it was really communist, was it?
No,
I don't think it was
wasn't.
about communism.
No.
I mean,
I don't remember a lot about Starship Troopers.
well, maybe it's time for a
other
rewatch
than it's
because
not very good.
because it's wonderful.
I might have to rewatch it. I might have a different opinion now.
Man,
Yeah.
Starship Troopers is a top-notch movie. On the Verhoeven
Disagree.
scale, it's not quite RoboCop, but it's right. It's real darn close.
It's above Hollow Man for sure.
Well, I mean, come on. Jeez
Doesn't take
Louise.
much.
Jeez Louise.
Does not take much.
But yes, join us for that. We got a game this week, CJ.
Sure do. Jeopardy game.
A new Jeopardy game for our post show. Will we do well? Your Patreon dollars will help you find out, friends. If you like a sample of these after shows, CJ does post some from a couple years ago. They're evergreen. They're still fun to listen to. He'll post those on the Thursday nights, so you can get a sampling. If you have a couple bucks left over, BT dubs, head over to generation-16.com, where you will find the Patreon link to help support Greg Stewart's outstanding, and it is outstanding, web series about North America's favorite runner-up, the Sega Genesis.
Thank you, Phil. And if you would like to support me to the tune of $5 per show,
also cheap,
you get early access to every episode and weekly video logs every Sunday.
There you go. I think they call them vlogs.
They do.
Yeah.
I don't.
Greg doesn't. He calls them shmups.
Shmups. Weekly Metroidvanias.
I call them a schmuppelvania.
Schmuppelvanias.
Yeah.
A schluter. Looter shooter.
A schmlooter?
Looter.
A schmlootervania?
Schlutervania.
We need... Which indie developer will be brave enough to create the world's first schmlootervania?
Schmlootervania.
I hope it has a unique art style. Maybe something Tim Burton-y.
Maybe.
Get it done, folks. Schmlootervania.
With some Oingo Boingo in the background.
Oh man, I love Oingo Boingo. I saw Oingo Boingo live during their farewell tour.
It doesn't surprise me.
It was wonderful. It was a fan. I saw him at the Metro
Great
in
venue.
Chicago.
Yeah.
A great little club in up in Chicago up in Wrigleyville.
True.
And oh man, I went to many a show at the Metro. Goodness God, now I'm having fond memories.
Metro is great, and the Vic.
I didn't see. I saw a couple shows at the Vic.
My first concert was at the Vic.
All right, who'd you see?
Social Distortion.
Oh, okay.
Punk band out of Southern California.
Right.
I know,
right.
weird. CJ going to a punk show. That's weird.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. No, most of my Chicago concert going was at the Metro.
They Might Be Giants. Probably.
I don't think I saw They Might Be Giants there. I don't.
I did.
I certainly saw They Might Be Giants live a few times, but I don't think it was ever at the Metro. It was. I think I might have seen them at the Vic. Anyway, we could sit here all day reminiscing about old concerts.
We have been.
Chicago concert venues.
Hey, you know who I did see at the Metro?
Who?
And this ties into video games in a weird, stupid way.
Shigeru Miyamoto.
I saw Shigeru Miyamoto live. This is a big spoken word bit about how he wishes he could stop making video games and open a theme park. And finally his dreams came true this week.
They spent 6 years making that Mario Kart attraction.
Yeah, well, you know what? A rushed theme park attraction is bad forever, as Miyamoto is so fond of
Jungle
saying.
Cruise.
Yeah. I saw Velocity Girl at the Metro.
Oh God.
Oh, that's tying it into video games.
Into video games. You got your. I saw Velocity Girl. Excellent band. I love Velocity Girl. The band.
Yes.
I have no opinion about the Velocity Girl Xbox user who makes her own custom Tony Hawk skateboards to sell.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Continue.
Join us for that. I think that's it. That's it, right?
All right.
CJ,
It is.
CJ, thank you so
20
much.
minutes after this intro started. Hello. Yes.
This is
thank
an outro.
you.
Outros are at the end.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, if this
20
is
minutes after
if
the
this is still
outro
part of the
started.
intro,
If this is
we're
the
in
intro, I'm going to bed.
trouble.
The
CJ,
intro
thank
for the
you.
after show.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Phil.
Gregory.
Yo.
Thank you.
Thank you, Philip.
Thank you to Jake, our young friend who needs to hang out with my kid.
And all our listeners.
Well, I was getting
To
them.
everybody.
I was giving Jake
Every-
a separate shout out.
Okay.
And then making
Wow.
an Adventure Time joke where he could hang out with my kid.
Jake and Finn.
Well, it's the other way
Thing.
around.
Yeah, Finn and
Jake. Finn and Jake.
Yeah.
They're destined to be buddies. And of course, thank you to our wonderful, wonderful listeners, each and every single one of you. Please Take care of yourself. Take care of your loved ones, your family, your
Have
friends.
a happy holiday.
From a distance. Oh yeah,
No matter what you celebrate.
I mean, well,
Jeez.
Hanukkah's
That's already over with.
Is Hanukkah over already? I knew it.
So we hope you had a
started.
happy Hanukkah.
Hopefully, yeah, you had a happy Hanukkah.
Have a happy Christmas. Have whatever. Enjoy your holiday season, man. Come on.
No matter what you celebrate.
This year blows. Have some fun.
It really does.
I hope it's good, merry, and stay safe.
Bright
Too. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to 2021, January 1st, 2021, when life will just suddenly be good.
Hey, so listen.
Uh-huh.
Our next episode, which is our last episode of this year, I assume we're doing our top 5 games.
Oh, is that our
That's correct.
Best of?
It's our
Okay.
Yes.
And it's the listeners should start betting on how high a Cyberpunk 2077 will be on all our lists.
Oh, I thought you were going to say how high I would be during the recording of that show.
No, that's not worth betting on.
Okay.
The
answer is always extremely.
It's not going to be on any of our lists, of course.
It's awfully.
I haven't played it, but I watched a demo, which means it's good enough to be on an EGM best of list.
Oh wow!
Sick burn. Sick old.
Those
game
old wounds
journalism
just
burn.
don't go away, do they, Phil?